sorry, this kind of small caselets only, and you also know how you kind of can understand this thing and prepare. Also, Gautam has prepared some answers, but I don't want to share it right now. But once after the class is over, once everybody puts forth their own viewpoints, I think we can share his answers as well. Anyway, during the class, he will also discuss the points that he has expressed in the note. Okay, so today we are trying to understand what is called this marketing analysis toolkit. Though the word toolkit nowadays has been, marred with a lot of negativity, thanks to the liberal leftists and so many others. But I think toolkit for in the general management sense is something which is useful to the managers, which will help them in getting a perspective, in developing a perspective, and probably help them in taking certain large decisions. Because that's what at the end of the day we are learning in the class, isn't it? How do we think and how do we make decisions at the end of the day? How do we analyze a particular situation? So in this marketing analysis toolkit, we have what is called 5 C's. That is customers, context, company, collaborators, and competition. Okay. So what we will try to do is, using this case, that is of Patanjali, we would like to understand how the customers have been created by this organization, how then the customers have been attracted by this organization, because it has also not just created its own customers, it has attracted customers away from the multinational corporations, which is a big deal. So we need to understand how they did it. Then we need to understand the context, because it has established itself in 2006. And during that time it was UPA era, and they started off with some 50 crores kind of in 2006-2007 financial year. But if you just Google what is their current turnover, it is 31,000 crores. Okay. So within a span of 17 or 16 years, this organization is able to join the $1 billion club. I'm not interested in the crores part of it. 31,000 crores is fine. But if you just convert that into $1 billion, it is 3 some 2-3 billion dollars, which is very, very important for us, because when a regional player like this came into fore from South India, which is called Kevin Care, it was supposed to join the $1 billion club, along with all these other multinational corporations. But because of their lack of, goal or lack of strategic vision, they didn't join the $1 billion club as planned. You see, and at one point in time, I think Kevin Care was a darling of every management professor in MBA institutions, but I think later on it became a failure exercise. You see, so in here we are also trying to understand what was that context, and if you see the meteoric rise of this Patanjali organization also collided with the establishment of NDA, or your BJP, largely BJP driven government, so to say. And next 5 years also being positive for BJP to come into picture, the political ambience or the context in which this organization has been established and existed and then thrived, I think is very interesting to understand. Then the company itself, so the company part of it, I think it was initially launched as something which is to do with the lifestyle, something to do with curing you from within, and then slowly went on to become something which can also cure you from outside. That is, some products and services that you can make use of. So the company part of it also is very, very interesting in that sense, as to how did this organization first of all started internally, to cure people internally, and then subsequently made them to purchase products to also cure themselves from external listings and all that. And the collaborators are complementers in the sense, this organization's meteoric rise also collided with the fact that it is not producing everything under its own roof, but it has taken a lot of third party players, which is a very good this thing for a country like ours, wherein it is easy for us to what you call outsource certain things and reduce our costs, what you call what you call reverse engineer a lot of things and then try to kind of reduce costs, which is what was also the successful formula which was proven by what is called your Kevin Care. So in that sense, I think the collaborators are also very, very important thing here. And then comes the competitors. So how the competitors were taken, for a ride by this organization. And here we need to understand competition, not just in the minor sense of product to product or organization to organization or segment to segment, but at a larger level, the competition was raised between India and multinational corporations. So your Dabur existed, your what was that green logo sort of a Himalaya existed, and your Vico existed. And mind you, these are very genuine products which have had to go through laboratory tests and prove themselves, and then kind of win the loyal customers in India, and had to struggle a lot in terms of marketing themselves, put in a lot of advertising money and all that. Then they reached the stage that they have reached, you see. Whereas within 17 years, this organization was able to reach the, cross over all these organizations and then say, you know what, I don't need to even spend on advertising, but still I'll be able to beat the competition. And then joining this, using the Swadeshi movement in a country like India, wherein everyone is born Videshi in the mother's womb. The mother itself is Videshi in her thoughts, and every child who is born in India is born Videshi. That is what my belief is. Except for all those people, the Jagat Gurus and the real saints who are not marketing any products or services. Everybody else is a Videshi, including me, because I come from Andhra Pradesh. We all aspire for green card, and at one point in time, all of us wanted our sisters and everybody cousin to get married only, to settle abroad. Same is the case with most other states as well, So in that case, convincing these Indians with this concept called Swadeshi, which was a big flop during the independence era, is something like a miracle, So you have to, give credit to this. So how did that thing happen? When you are unable to even compete at a product level, at a brand level, at a category level, or at a segment level, one is taking the battle to the highest level possible between multinationals and the Swadeshi company is, I think, something which is interesting, where this fellow is to be lauded for all the efforts that he has put in. So let us begin with, first of all, understanding the customers. So can you please tell me, why do you think suddenly customers started, going Swadeshi? What is this reason? Is it happening so suddenly, or was there something, as some of you have already pointed out to me in the PPT and the answers that you have shared, that it was carefully constructed by this organization? What are your views? Amit, please go ahead.
Good morning, sir. So technically, I think everybody has read the case, and so did I. And what I find out, and this was rightly mentioned by Mr. Piyush Pandey from Ogilvy, that Ramdev, he's kind of like act like an all-rounder. He does all batting, fielding, and bowling by himself. But yes, coming back to the core question, I think they've started with the yoga, and they've hired those 5 lakh teachers, and these are the core people who build those kind of relationship. They have given the benefit of the kind of product they are developing, and that's how people got connected, and that's how it became 50 crore to almost 4 billion company today. So I think that was one of the core point. And of course, he realized the importance of marketing, wherein he got contacted with McCann and Mudra, and they've also clarified certain benefit related to the product, and that's how I think they have achieved the benchmark.
Okay, Sukhdevji.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everybody. Happy Navratri to everybody.
Yes,
Sir,
yes.
I'd like to, put some more insights in it. I thought, the
What has happened?
Neo Hindutva movement was going on, and this Swadeshi and all this, that the Swadeshi flavor was being reinstated in the public's mind. So that actually connected the company and its brand placement in the amongst the masses, and that actually uh, created a huge trust in the company. And the products were also placed very aggressively priced, so that thing was there. Ki, this is going to be a value for money product, and Swadeshi also. So, and unfortunately, all its competitors were in the FMCG segment were mostly Videsi. So the sentiment and the sympathy was there for this brand. That is my observation, sir. Thank you.
So there is, you have to, it will take a little bit of time for people to change their habit. It will take a lot of time for people to change certain behaviors. And, slowly you will also see it will take a little bit of time for people to change their language. Now, before I go to Anil ji, I want to point out in 2011, there was a movie that was released called Student of the Year, wherein, all my students who are Hindi speaking guys, they will never use the word wala. If you are a Hindi person and your Hindi teacher has been very strict with the grammar that she taught you, you will never use the word wala in you speak in your language, and probably you use it, but very sparingly you use it. You don't use it very regularly. Okay, so this ishq wala love, that is what this fellow has written a song. And you must see from 2011 to 2023, most children who have grown up listening to this Ishqwala love song, and then the advertising people who are responsible for calling it Titan Wali Diwali, this Wali Dashera, Haldiram Wala, Eid, and, KFC Wala Christmas, what is this? Christmas is Christmas because we are celebrating Jesus. Okay? It is not, KFC's prerogative. We are celebrating Diwali not because, for, this thing, but it is specifically meant for a Lord, an Allah or a Devi or somebody. But thanks to the Vala word that was given, you are, almost trivializing Diwali, that is from the great person, to like Rama. You're trivializing it to an organization called Titan. I don't mean to say that Titan Tata is not a good organization. It is a good organization. But you're using that big name called Rama for selling yourself, and then you say Titan Wali Diwali. This wala, the Shahara, which means you are taking this, the energy from a greater source, which has higher brand image in the Indian society, and then you're trying to use that to sell yourself. And that's what has happened with this Ishqwala love song. And sadly, the Hindi speaking people also nowadays are using the Wala word very, very frequently. It got into their lexicon, you see. So it was carefully cultivated and constructed, and that is how one song and one movie, has changed the lexicon among the people. In the same way, this person has created a small organization, first of all focusing on the internal aspects of it. That is, we would like to teach you yoga. And mind you, teaching yoga is nothing new in this country. And teaching yoga, and every Tom, Dick and Harry in America is a yoga teacher now. except for putting poses. They don't understand the ideology of yoga at all, but still they do it. Okay, so this is nothing new. It is like selling old wine in a new bottle, but the bottle was so very attractive and effective, which is what the credit should go to this guy, wherein he has used the yoga guru Patanjali's name, not his name, you see. So he has taken inspiration or taken energy from a larger entity called Patanjali, who is the guru of Ayurveda, and who can also be given this thing and all that. From such big source, he has taken the name, and that's why people say, "What's in a name?" It is in a name. You are sourcing all your energy, your this thing from such a big name, and slowly you are spreading it. So this is not suddenly, in 2006 people started doing it. I think this yoga journey might have started long back before that. But with the cable television helping you to broadcast this, I think more people gotten onto this bandwagon. Okay, and the also the volunteers who have gone in and tried to explain these things to the people. I think that is what slowly the customer has been made to change his or her habit. That is, please attend this particular yoga camp and you will be feeling better. You must also understand our health standards are, our health, these things are reducing. So people are little interested in reducing their stress. People are interested in improving their lifestyle, which is the reason why they're trying to latch on to something. So you were at a right time at a right place with your yoga, which is anyway a tried and tested thing in India. And by using the very, very renowned name called Patanjali, you are drawing all that energy from there, and that is where you are able to present a very good picture of yourself. But if you simply state that, oh, this is Baba Ramdev's yoga, I think people might have said, oh no, thank you. You see, so he has that first stepping door sort of a thing. Hesitation was removed by taking the best possible name, the authority in that Ayurveda, the authority in the yoga, and then you are trying to get the entry in the house. You see, so that entry in the house is the first thing that they were able to achieve. And let us see what has happened. Jayaprakash, please go ahead.
Yes, actually, Patanjali was started in the particular target the yoga people. They have targeted the people of the district headquarters first. They have opened an outlet with the Ayurvedas. They have targeted to the personalized product and Ayurveda product to curing the diabetes and other chronic diseases. And they have put a doctor with free consultant. From there, they have first started in the 2007 or 8. Exactly, I am reminding that at that time. I am also using some products. So from allopathy, homeopathy, and to Ayurveda, they have created something different way of marketing. Even if competitions are there before the products are available in the market, if I will say for the Dabur and other the giants of Ayurveda is there. But what the way they are process and the marketing and to target the audience and target the people, that different. They have paid seated one doctor, free consultant. Regularly they have added their particularly after they are saying persona products, then they are coming with the consumer products. But first of all, they are targeted the exactly Ayurveda. So that they are now the 31,000 crore company as they are particular. Thank you.
Yes. So in that sense, first of all, you have identified the pain point. When you say you want to change the consumer's behavior, you identified their pain point. Their pain point was their lifestyle was becoming difficult. Okay, because after liberalization, we are inundated with so many products, and even though we do not want to, I think we got attracted towards them, like burgers, pizzas, pasta, and so many other things which were not there in our lives, are there in our children's lives. And even wantingly, it is very difficult for a parent to resist that. Okay, so even for yourself, because this is something new, you want to taste it, just have this thing, go at it. But the children are also, because they're born into it, they are forced to accept these things. So when you say you're looking for an alternative wherein, okay, when I'm forced to accept some of these products in my life, what do I do so that I will remain healthy? That is also a concern that the consumers have. And that's where, as Jayaprakash pointed out, the health aspect of it is what built the trust part of it. You see, otherwise, building trust takes a long time, between, these things. That's why you say, when you're celebrating your 10th wedding anniversary, your 25th wedding anniversary, then you move on to celebrate, up till 50th. I think every 10 years you complete, I think the husband and wife, though they are, kind of quarreling with one another, by the time they reach 40 years completion, I think they become half kind of. So even, they start speaking like one another without knowing. Why? Because they've developed that sort of a trust. You see? So your mother might be saying, oh my God, it is so damn difficult to deal with your father. But when she goes out for a day or two, she makes sure that all the idiosyncrasies of your father are taken care of, and then only she leaves. And now, thanks to the mobile, she constantly calls, tumne medicine liya, tumne chhat piya, and all that. Why? Because of the trust that they have built together for the last 40 years. And just after keeping this phone, the lady will say, "Are ye banda to aisa hi hai. Agar main nahi rahungi na, iska life to aisa hi hota hai." See? So this is what it is. So when you say that the kind of familial relationship that you are to establish, for that, the customer should trust you. What better than a clinic wherein you are trying to figure out and write a case about the case sheet about the patient. You're trying to help them with suggestions. You're trying to help them with some changes in their lifestyle. And then you're putting them onto Ayurveda, which is not addictive and which forces you to refrain from certain things, you see. So in the sense, even though the temptations are there from so many products of multinational corporations, Ayurveda helps you to refrain yourself and brings a little bit of discipline. So I think consumers who are otherwise unable to discipline themselves are able to discipline themselves once they go to this Patanjali clinic. So that's where the attraction lies. And once you say somebody is actually listening to you and writing a case sheet and telling you not to consume anything which is unhealthy, you believe that he is working for your favor. Whereas most of us, when we go to the allopathy doctor, sir, मेरे को सर दर्द तक ही 3 मेडिसिन ऑलरेडी वो बंदा लिख दिया है. सर दर्द के बाद सर जोड़ों में दर्द है और 3 मेडिसिन. सर मेरा पेट में दर्द है और 3 मेडिसिन. So do you ever trust an allopathic doctor? Nahi. But whereas this doctor, he is listening to all your stories, and then he is telling you, 1, 2, 3, these things have to go away from your lifestyle. 1, 2, 3, these medicines are to be regularly consumed. Then next you have to also come to our yoga, which is where you will get peace of mind. If you get peace of mind, then your body will be cleansed. So you develop that trust that this person is interested in you rather than the money that you are paying. And if you say, if you are able to provide this for a very less fees or a nominal fee, so to say, I think the trust that was built in the consumers will last for a very, very long time. You see? So that is one of the important things that this organization has done. First of all, they created trust among the consumers. They gave their Ayurveda advice first, then they gave the Ayurveda products next, and then they showed the results. This is very, very important. So when you say there is a pain point in the customer's life, you counsel them, you create the trust. Then you give them the products or services, and you have to make them see the results. Once they have seen the results, I think the bond is solidified between you and the consumer. Now, right now, at this point in time, you can say Patanjali was not looking at this relationship as a commercial relationship. It was only interested in cultivating the relationship. That is how you need to look at it, because you are having a long-term vision that if I'm able to cultivate this relationship, this customer will stay with me forever. You see, that's what all these so-called, what you call, not the Jagat Gurus, but the normal small time spiritual gurus like your Sadguru and others do, isn't it? They say, please come to me. They will first create confidence, and then they will constantly encourage you to attend their campaign. Their camps. That is their whatever spiritual campaign, a camp or some meditation camp or something. So your Sadguru is interested in selling his MDPs and spirituality rather than anything else. You see. So he is marketing, the larger picture later, but he's first of all trying to win over your confidence. So you'll see all these HEP crowd from IT, you will find that they're all in Coimbatore, and they're always flocking around whenever Sadhguru is announcing something. They're going and joining that thing because this is the in thing to be with Sadhguru and to do meditation and all that. That's part of their lifestyle and stuff like that. So that is a style-driven sort of a thing. But here, it's more of nurturing the relationship for a very long time so that in future, if we do something in the name of launching certain products and services, you will believe us. That's where it is. Anilji, please go ahead.
Sir, I think three major important factors that Patanjali major focuses on. First one is a concept. Second one is the benefits of the product. And third one is the customer reach. The first one, the concept is the Ayurvedic concept. Basically, this Patanjali is depend on totally Ayurvedic concept. Why? Because of this, this is the Indian origin concept called as from the Charak Samhita. That's most of the Indian people believe in Ayurveda. That is one concept. Second, the thing is the benefit of the products, sir, because many products are carcinogenic products are available in many of the synthetic products, like shampoo, like soap, and all those things. So the major focus is from this Patanjali product is from Ayurveda, no side effect, health benefit, no allergic reactions from the skin and all the other etc. And third is the customer reach. Customer reach because they already have the yoga people there, they can reach to the maximum number of customers to build our brand. So these, I think these two concepts are important, sir.
Yes.
For success of Patanjali.
Yes. So you all know that word of mouth is very important. That is, let us say, if one of you tells me, sir, I have had very bad experience with LG refrigerator, please never ever buy that. Okay. So even though one student in my class tells me that, sir, it is not a very good company or not a very good product, please don't buy refrigerators of LG, I'll suggest you buy anything else from LG, but no refrigerator. Which means, knowing your background and knowing who you are and working in the field of marketing for so many years, I do believe, and anytime I want to replace my refrigerator, LG is definitely not going to play any, what we call not being part of my shortlist. You see, everything else will be there. But LG will definitely not be there because one of my students who is experienced in the marketing field advised me not to. Which means the word of mouth is very important. And nowadays it is the e-word of mouth also, thanks to your social media. So the robustness of the conceptualization, as Anilji pointed out, is very, very important. So first, the name part of it. Second, what is the concept of service that you are trying to provide to these fellows? The name is very good, relatable. Then the service concept is also very much focused on establishing relationships and trust with the customer. And then the products, they were also trying to establish very good relationship with the customer. And once you say the Ayurvedic products have given positive results to the patients or the consumers, so to say, I think the positive word of mouth about the organization as such has prevailed. You see? So once I sell my Ayurveda products to you and establish credence with you, you will go on giving Patanjali's products are good. You will never say Patanjali's Ayurveda products are good. Because you're not individually naming them initially. You're saying, you're only selling the Patanjali name earlier. So in that way, you're trying to do this. And because it is a spillover effect from the Ayurveda, and initially at least they were only launching the related products. So slowly they gotten into unrelated products, but initially they were launching all related products which have shown benefits. And even if you see today, most of their Ayurveda products are very, very expensive compared to the cosmetic products that they launch. So the core part of it has to be very well established. I think that's where you have to give what you call the benefit to or respect to Baba Ramdev for creating or conceptualizing that particular thing in the best possible way. You see, so if you take the example of our own gods, every god has been conceptualized for a particular reason. He or she has been customized for a particular reason. You see, so a particular asura has asked for a wish and he wants to be killed in a particular manner. So existing gods cannot kill him. So you're conceptualizing a new god who will be, betray all these rules, and he is able to now kill that person. So as long as this god is not born, this asura is able to live. But the moment the god is born, you are able to see that this one, so you are able to kill that fellow. Virus has been killed by the vaccine that you have created. So this customization concept, some white fellow need not come and teach us. Customization we have been doing forever. Okay, they are using an English word for it, but we know it already. Okay, so we are the best people in terms of customizing. We know exactly whatever customization you require, we will be there to provide you with that. Our gods are the best examples for it. So when you say, I think taking inspiration from such things, you are able to customize what it is that is addressing the pain points of the customer. You're creating a very, very solid core that will last for a very, very long time to come. I think that's where the organization needs to be given credence that this conceptualization is very, very good. Otherwise, what happens is generally the conceptualization is not very good, you see. So like say take Orkut. You can say, sir, it is only developing, evolving and all that. So how can you say that, sir, it is not conceptualized very nicely? It was, but it was only conceptualized with a very short-term goal in mind. Later on came your Facebook. Facebook also was not conceptualized very properly. But because you're defining your business very, very narrowly, that's where you also need to remember Theodore Levitt. That is marketing myopia. I think I told you in the previous class. So you're visualizing your concept of business very, very narrowly. That's where this fellow needs to be given the title of a visionary, because first of all, he is interested in gathering the crowd. Second of all, he is interested in establishing the trust. Third, he is trying to pool all the products which will address the needs and remove the pain points of these crowd that has been established. Then he says, okay, let me now, once I have made the springboard, now let me take the jump and I'm moving from 30 crore business to 30,000 crore business. You see? So that is how this fellow is slowly conceptualizing the business. Okay. Then Mayank. Then comes Arpit and Sakshi. Mayank, please go ahead.
Sir, most of my points have already been
Then
discussed.
you can talk about the context.
Yeah.
Any other point that you want to talk about? Please, okay.
I just feel that his marketing, he understood the environmental factor at that time very well, because that was the same time when Anna Hazare movement was also there. So he joined that particular movement, which gave him a very good impetus. From Ramdev, he was made into a brand Ramdev, and that also helped Patanjali a lot. That is.
So this is the context part that Mayank is pointing out. You must understand that there was another offshoot also of the great Anna Hazare. That is your other fellow,
Arvind Kejriwal.
Jaduwala. Kejriwal, that Jaduwala. So when you say, if you see this, see, one genuine person with one genuine concept is attaching or hobnobbing with another genuine person who has always done this, whatever little this thing, for not profitable, or for making himself a billionaire, but for serving a public cause. We don't, we cannot say that Anna Hazare alone could remove the corruption and all that. But he has at least created a movement, and hopefully that has made more people aware of the corruption that is going on and all that. That's fine. But hobnobbing with such people also gives you little more popularity. And I think this is where you must give one more, what you call feather to this Patanjali's cap is that this fellow knows how to ride waves. So you must know, if you're, the social media experts must constantly study the moves that are made by this Ramdev Baba, so as to understand how he rides a particular sentiment. You see, at the end of the day, we are all our mother's children. That's it. Father comes into the picture, but he comes later. Because your mother, even today, my mother decides what is the shirt that I'm going to wear. And when I buy this kind of shirt, she says, what kind of dull colors you guys keep wearing? I understand you're a professor, but at least when you're going to a function, please wear some bright colored shirts. So she forced me, and I think at the age of 42, I think I bought some bright colored shirts finally. So in that sense, your mother is always there, which means that sentiment is always there. And that is what this fellow is good at, tapping the sentiments of Indians. See? So he rides from one sentiment to the sentiment. Yes, she is the supreme power. Even Jagadguru, Adi Shankara believes that mother is the supreme power. That is what is established. Father is there, he is incidental. That's what. But mother is the supremo, that's what. So in that sense, you must understand she is the supremo. You better listen to her. Okay, and so then there will not be any LGBTQ, whatever problems in your life if you listen to your mother, because she will tell you you're a boy, you're a boy. She tells you you're a girl, that's it. There is no doubt in the mind that the child will decide whether it is a baby or baby or whatever it is. That's all because you don't believe in the concept of mother, then all these baby deities will come into picture. Okay, let us come back to this. So when you say that, it is not just this one Anna Hazare movement that Mayank is pointing out, but if you see the track record of this person, he has hobnobbed with everyone who was fighting for a cause. And he took every opportunity, I think he has gone over the board in terms of corona. When he started blaming the allopathy doctors, that I think, is slightly over the board, but still he made 250 crores blaming the Indian Medical Association and the doctors. Okay, we know that is just a farce, and he is just trying to make use of this wave to sell his coronary, you see. So it is just, he is simply following the core capitalist principle imported from US, wearing saffron clothes. It's as simple as that. If you think that he is anyway less than Alan Greenspan, I think you are wrong. Okay, he's at the core, he's as capitalist as Ayn Rand is, as capitalist as Alan Greenspan is. I think, in that sense, he is completely interested in, first of all, grabbing hold of your brain. And if possible, if he can source your soul, that is the first aim of this organization. Once you submitted your brain, and if possible, most of those yoga, small mini-me's submitted their souls to this organization, everything can be sold. That's what he did. He harvested brains and then he harvested souls. Every context that was presented to him, every adversity that was presented to him, demonetization, this one, and anti-corruption, or corona, or any wave that you take, or Nestle Maggie's fiasco, or anything that you talk about, I think he has always made good use of it in terms of selling his products. And always blaming the other, I think it is very, very important. You will have to. I think Rakhi Sawant is another lady that comes to my mind, because this lady has risen from rags to riches. I think one should write a book about Rakhi Sawant, because people can learn a lot as to how do you make use of the context and you can rise from rags to riches, because she was a very poor girl, a disempowered girl. And from there, she has risen and she was able to kind of, establish herself in the very, very cutthroat competitive Bollywood industry, you see. So there is a lot of similarity between Ramdev Baba and your Rakhi Sawant as well, in that sense, one must say. They too should hobnob with each other so that they can exchange ideas as to how do you cultivate social media in that sense. This is my private view. Please don't broadcast this anywhere. Okay. This is between me and my students. So when you say that this person is able to make use of the context, so when you say from 2007 to 2014, this organization's numbers were slowly growing. So it's all largely because of the trust that you've been established. You've slowly started changing the habits of the consumers. You slowly established the idea that Ayurveda or Ayurvedic sourced products are the good ones. And then a deadly combination with Ayurveda and low price, you launch Dantakanti and it's a supreme success. You see? So that's where, all that utility of social media, all the riding of the waves and sentiments, and all the, this thing that was using the context for your better reasons has really helped this organization to at least reach till 2014. So he survived on his own when more people were attacking him, were filing cases against him and stuff like that. Now, 2014 onwards, things have changed. So, Arpit, what do you have to say afterwards? What has happened?
Good morning, sir. I was coming to this point only that apart from being a great marketer, Baba Ramdev is also a great political viewer as well, because when he started in 2006, Uttarakhand had Congress government, and in 2014 when the government in the center changed and also in Uttarakhand changed, there were many allegations that were put in front of Baba Ramdev that were all gone to the ground. No allegations were put forward. So he used the wave, apart from the marketing wave, he used the political wave as well. So
yes,
that was my point.
Yes. So in the sense, let's not be very sentimental about it. Oh, all the corporates are very, very nice and all that. They use a very nice word called lobbying. And in India, lobbying is a dirty word, but in US, lobbying is to be done. And there are lobbies for that. Okay. In India, because, we are very, very moral or whatever, at least to the outside world, whether we are inside or not, which is the reason why we don't like the word lobbying, which is the reason why the business people have to take different routes in terms of, getting information from the government, in terms of influencing the policies of the government and stuff like that. So in that sense, every businessman on this earth has used the political powers for their gains. Okay. And Indian businessmen are no exception. And that's where I say that Ramdev Baba was able to cultivate a good relationship with the existing governments and, establish, because of that good relationships that he was able to establish, he was able to move the papers faster through the bureaucracy and was able to, what you call, establish or, expand his business further, Otherwise, we all know most businessmen, when they come on television, they say, please, government, we require this kind of support from you. We want single window system. Even in the single window, we want more effectiveness, more transparency, more efficiency. Okay. So single window has become a very, very obsolete word wherein you are simply using it. But are you really living up to the expectations of single window system? So, let us not blame Ramdev Baba alone. I think every business empire, starting from your Rockefeller to the Rothschilds to everybody else, has used the government support, has been patronized by one government or the other, which is the reason why we have survived. And even when you look at the Indian history, I think the businessmen were always with the whichever establishment that it existed. When Britishers were there, they were with Britishers. Pre-Britishers, they were with the existing Maharajas. But afterwards, they were with the government. But only during that socialist era, I think they were made to believe that, your angry young man says that all these capitalists are to be removed and all that. And during that nonsensical period, I think they were not with the government. But rest of the time, every business is with the government. So there is nothing wrong in taking favors from the government. There's nothing wrong in terms of getting your papers cleared, with a political mileage. Because at the end of the day, you are establishing more and more factories, you are creating more and more jobs, and you are trying to establish a name for this country. Okay, so in that sense, at that time, I think the Swadeshi thing also collided, you see. So when though this Make in India campaign or Atmanirbhar Bharat didn't achieve so much success that it was envisioned for, but at least there are some people like Patanjali who have taken the benefit of it, by claiming that we are part of this and we are interested in making Atmanirbhar Bharat. We are making products in India. So please support us. So in that sense, the political part of it has really, really helped. And how about the economic side of it? If somebody can talk about the economic side of the context, economic environment. Sakshi, would you like to talk about economic environment?
So we have already talked about the face value of the brand ambassador. We have already talked about the advertising strategy which the company should follow. Third, I would like to focus on the target audience which he focused on. I believe that he focused on 35 plus age group people who are mostly busy in their own lifestyle. But since they have a busy lifestyle, they don't have the time to focus on their health. So he connected Swadeshi things with the health and with the TG. He made it like a package to sell to the people in a mass manner. So
Yes.
the approach was like giving low price product to the mass segment.
Yes.
So similarly, if I talk about the pricing strategy of Patanjali, when they first started launching the product, like when they launched Maggie, they kept it at ₹9 when Maggie company and the other company was selling it at the price of 11 and 12. So since they wanted to sell it to the mass audience, they kept the prices low. Similarly, for the dishwashing bars and all the food products which it was catering to the market, he followed the strategy. Even the biscuit packets which they were selling, they wanted to sell it to the mass audience, so they kept the pricing low so that they can capture the overall market. And they made it a point that their stores are actually available at the place where the normal products are also not selling.
So you are trying to increase your distribution reach, and started with pharma shops, the drugstores that we generally have. In Indore, how we got, introduced to Patanjali products is through the chemist. That is, this person is a chemist and he has certain things that he was selling. And he started selling also the Ayurveda soaps and other, very good this thing, some churnas and all that, which are for health. And my friend, used to go and purchase those things, and slowly, this thing gotten in the sense that you are trying to then establish the franchisee. So now that your consumer base is ready, now they are asking for more. Okay, they want more and more of their pain points to be addressed by your organization because you've created that sort of a trust. Then you were also able to politically, influence, and thereby now you've gotten an opportunity to expand yourself. And so coming to the economic environment part of it, because, the country was growing and, we have always managed to grow even during COVID and all that. So what this person did was to, figure out the small franchisee model, figure out his own outlet sort of a model, wherein if somebody is not willing to host your products, you find your own distributor, you establish your own shop, you convince very small people to sell your products, because anyway, you are interested in talking to the price conscious customer, not the elite customer, not the upper middle class customer anyway, as of now and at that point in time. So you were trying to kind of slowly get into the masses and say, once your word of mouth has reached, the customer is looking for your products. So near his house or his locality, there should be your store or some store selling your products. That's what they were able to do. And in this process, I think they found out that, there is more possibilities for selling products because now more consumers are entering into the market. So on one side, he is accused of stealing the consumers away from the multinationals. That's one side of the story. That is not useful because you're not really increasing the size of the pie. You're only getting a share of the pie, stealing it away or taking it away from the multinationals. But when companies like Nirma, companies like Gadi Detergent, Kevin Care, Patanjali, and such organizations come into the economy, what happens is they also try to expand the pie. and then get a bigger share in that, because they were the ones who were creating that pie. So your Patanjali, in its economic sense, also helped in increasing the market size by bringing in more price conscious or price sensitive customers and thereby tapping into that market. So one cannot accuse this company that it was only stealing the customers away from MNCs, but it was also building a customer base for itself, you see. So when you are building the customer base for yourself, those fellows will remain loyal with you for a very long time. So in that sense, this really worked out for them from the economic point of view, that you are creating job opportunities, you are encouraging small time, medium time industries which are outsourced from your company. Then you are also creating some other opportunities for people to what we call earn money by selling your products. They are getting margins and stuff. So thereby you're slowly growing as a contributor to the economy. Now, this political and economic things will go hand in hand. The moment your economic power rises, everyone is supposed to pay attention to you. That is, the politicians are supposed to pay attention to you. Why? Because if anything were to happen to you, their job is at risk. You see, that is the reason why, we get a constant support for Amul, because there are 4.5 crore people behind this organization. 1.5 crore milk producers associated with Amul, which means a family of 4, I'm imagining, so 3 to 4, so 4.5 to 5.5 kind of crore people are associated with this organization. Their livelihoods are associated with the organization. So if you take a dig at it, and if the organization goes down, I think your political ratings will also go down. So there is always an effort to be made to prevent, to kind of what you call rescue this vote bank or cultivate this vote bank, and you kind of support this organization. That's what this person is also trying to do. So he's trying to raise his economic power through the concept of business that he has created. Thereby, the politicians will start paying attention to him. Now, come about the competition. What did they have to say about Patanjali? Competition. How did this fellow address the competition, the MNCs? There was a program called Ladies versus Baba in Aaj Tak TV, I think, wherein all the female anchors of Aaj Tak were ganged up and they were pitted against the Ramdev Baba, and there was a half an hour or 45 minutes program inspired from Ladies versus Ricky Bell. I think then they very what you call juicy program they created, Ladies versus Lady Anchors versus Ramdev Baba. I watched it for a little while, but then those ladies were like I can't express it, and I couldn't take them any longer. So I just ran off from the TV, switched off, and ran away from there. So in that sense, the multinational corporations are no short. If somebody comes into this thing and is taking away their consumers or is becoming a threat, what would they do? What did they do initially? What did they do initially? Your Colgate, what was its reaction to Dantakanti initially? Or your Unilever? What did they do? Did they acknowledge this fellow?
No, initially not.
So what happened? How did they try? What did they do to this fellow initially?
Initially, they have targeted we have the ancient Hinduism and also Ayurvedic, that long. This is all are the inside our Dantakanti toothpaste. They have created another thing.
That's what they have done. But what did Colgate do initially?
Sir, they also brought in this Ayurvedic range after that. That is what they also started, because they knew that a new market segment is developed, which is more focused on the Ayurvedic product rather than the traditional toothpaste and all these FMCG products.
So, Devji, you have anything to say?
Colgate charcoal and all those things.
Exactly. Colgate is doing the ad previously 10 to 20 or 30 years back. एक ad आ रहा था, भैया क्या दांत में क्या माज रहे हो, कोयला माज रहे हैं, तो कोयला क्यों कोलगेट नहीं रहे, या सर नियर अराउंड रामायण महाभारत टाइम. Exactly, I'm reminding. So exactly that funda came into the Ramdev funda.
That's
That
why
is
I
our
like executive
ancient. We
audience,
have put it that Colgate, and then so Colgate reacted to that also. That
Yes.
particularly.
Thank
Yeah,
you so
now
much,
they are
Jayaprakash.
also Colgate is saying the charcoal is there. Charcoal. Colgate
Yes,
now adding that
isn't
the
it?
charcoal is there also.
Isn't
This
it?
is the
When we were
difference.
children,
Yes, yes.
we were ridiculed that, charcoal must not be used. We were
In
ridiculed
the
of our lower middle class status, and
yes.
we were ridiculed that we are using charcoal, we are using the datun, and suddenly your Colgate after 30 years realizes that
The charcoal
charcoal
is
is the most important ingredient, and so they bring in Lara Datta with her impeccable English to say that charcoal is an ingredient in Colgate. I use it every day.
yes.
I said, Madam, we were using this when we were children, and it is your own company which has ridiculed us. So please don't come to us with your foreign English, you see. So thank you, Jayaprakash. You also remember that old thing, able to connect with the Ramayana and all that. Yes, yes, I remember.
Yeah, exactly.
You see,
At that time,
and look at these multinational fellows, all our Vedas, are supposed to enlighten an individual and help us reach Paramatma. That is the, what you call the major this thing of Vedas. And this Colgate is saying Veda Shakti. For what? For brushing your teeth and making it white. What a dumb concept that is. You see? So, instead of, what you call, that is what happens when you say you try to do some things that you are not supposed to do or you are not expected to do. You see? So, in that sense, something like a very commercial hero in the Bollywood goes and, acts in a Bengali movie without any, what you call, halla balu in it. Nobody will accept him. Because they say, Are, ye banda Akshay Kumar doing a Bengali film. Can you imagine? All the Bengalis in my class will feel hurt. Sir, what are you saying? Where is Akshay Kumar and that Akshay Kumar fellow in our Bengali, that to art films of Bengali? I myself will get hurt. Bengalis will come later. Okay? I cannot accept him in a Bengali movie, whether it is commercial or non-commercial, I don't care. I can't accept him in a Bengali movie at all. Okay, so in that sense, this Colgate was trying to use a word called Veda Shakti, and I think that has really rubbed the consumers on the wrong side. Like me saying, Vedas are meant for an upliftment of human spirit, not to, brush your teeth and make it white, you idiot. Then they started, saying that, no matter how much you advertise, we will thank you, we will not buy your product. So in that sense, I think, you have to conceptualize the product in the right sense. And even when you are competing and wanting to launch something, please think of the name in the proper way. My senior, Professor Sridhar, who works in IIM Kozhikode, took a big pot shot at this organization called Colgate when it launched Veda Shakti. And he said, instead of giving buy one, get one, the best offer for this Colgate Veda Shakti to give is give Panchanga. We all use Panchangam, no? So he said, don't give buy one, get one, 200 grams for 200 grams. You give one Panchanga free for every this thing. He said how much low these people will stoop in terms of winning the customers. It was such a big jibe he took at this Colgate because he too is very, very, spiritual and he can't accept this kind of ill treatment. You see, so in that sense, I think the competitors were only trying to ridicule this person. They say that, oh, this saffron fellow does not know anything. He does not know the behavior. This person has conceptualized a robust business. What he wears is of no consequence. Okay, whether he wears white clothes, saffron clothes, pink clothes, some other clothes, or rainbow clothes, it doesn't really matter. He has got the brains to conceptualize a big business. He may not be interested in talking in English with you, but that's not the prerogative to speak, that is his prerogative, whether he speaks in English or Sanskrit or Hindi. As long as he's contributing to the economy, I think people will respect him. You see? So in that sense, most of these attacks have become personal attacks. So when corporations are sponsoring these personal attacks and filing wrong litigations against this person, I think he has also used this to, tilt the public's sentiment, because he has already, brought in these fellows as his or her brethren, you see. So if somebody says something to your brother, scolds your brother in front of you, how much ever you hate him, you just go and slap that fellow. Don't do this. He is my brother. You see? So I think this is the effect that he was able to create, and the competitors were still struggling to find out what are all the products that he is, that they should launch so as to, counter this person. I think they have not done a great job. But he also abused competition. Can you please, think of certain names of his products? Smart fellow. What are the names of his products?
Dant Kanti, Kesh Kanti.
Dant Kanti is your this thing. There is no Kanti. Kanti, this thing is okay. That is genuine product. Huh? That's his name. What about Shakti Vita?
Power Beta.
Power
Beta.
Power Vita.
Power Vita, Shakti Vita, and
Moon
some chocolates also.
Yeah.
Yes, Kanti.
Divya Pharmacy. Where is it inspired from? If you take any one of his names for the FMCG products, they're all inspired by multinational corporations, no? That's where
ITC,
you
Procter
should give.
Gamble, yeah.
Sir, I remember the Kada which he launched in the COVID times, Ayush Kada.
So Ayush is anyway your Unilever's this thing, no?
Yeah.
So he has taken Unilever's Ayush, and he has taken Bornvita from, this thing, and he has taken some chocolate, and, he has taken so many other things. You see, so in that way, what he is trying to do now, once this is where I called him a capitalist to the core, like Alan Greenspan. Now, when you say you're enamored with someone, that you have believed this person, you have submitted your brain to this person, and most people have submitted their soul to the person. Generally, we submit our soul to God or Guru. Okay, like Vivekananda to someone like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. You will submit your soul to such a Guru. That's it. You don't submit your soul to Dabur India or some Unilever or something just because you worked there or their products are really great and stuff like that. But generally, this is one more important aspect which he has used as a Swadeshi, this thing. That is, in the Guru Sishya Parampara, what a Guru wants is that the students should submit themselves to the Guru and then learn, you see. Though you may call it, sir, this is hierarchical, there is so much this thing, that thing, and all that, ठीक है यार, वो सब अलग है, उसके भी rules है, okay? You can go ahead with that hierarchical relationship also, still maintain the balance also. But what he has learned to do is that from the Guru Sishya Parampara, in the sense of controlling the Sishyas and making them feel that they know less than the Guru, so they should always seek advice from the Guru. So whatever Guru does is correct. Okay, so that is a utopian concept of Hinduism. But what you are trying to do is a modern version of that, wherein you convinced all these fellows as the Guru, and you brought in the capitalist version. Now your people are convinced that you are the greatest person to go to. You will sell everything to them. Like, cornflakes, choco cornflakes, and, all sorts of things which have been proven not to be health conscious to the consumers in the Western society. Okay, this is what is exactly happening in US. Though they call themselves individualistic culture, they are not. I think we Indians, though we are guided by our parents, we are guided by our community, we are guided by some elder person in that community, I think Indians give some space to the children. At the same time, they also command space in the mind of the child. Two things happen. If not, just go visit any Gujarati family. Okay, you see them in the airport. Old Bua is also there. Old Sasuma, Dadi Sasuma is also there in the wheelchair. She is also going to Goa. What will Dadi Sas do in Goa? Don't ask that question to a Gujarati family. Okay, Dadi Sas is there. She cannot stay all alone at home, and we don't want to leave her with any maid. So Dadi Sas will come with us in the wheelchair, and she will also visit us in the beach. She will not sit at the hotel. This is the very unique thing that you find in Gujarat, which is not to happen anywhere in the India, no matter what you say about the mother being the god or father being the god, guru being the god and all that. No. It's being practiced only in Gujarat. Okay. So in that sense, I think this concept of giving that individual freedom to the person at the same time commanding them over a period of time, I think is also used that concept. You see? So, we I think are better off than Americans because they are heard in one sense. Because once Taylor Swift says that I use this product, all girls of her age will start using that product only. But it is not like that in India. Our girls say, okay, in one of the lipsticks that I use whatever Deepika has to say, but I will buy what I want to buy. Okay, so I have 4 or 5 favorite heroines. Some heroines का favorite products मेरे पास होगा, उसमें मेरा individual choice भी होगा. That is what our girl will say. Whereas an American will say, oh, Beyonce has said this, so Beyonce का ही पूरा products मेरे room में होगा. So that part, I think, he is able to do, but he's able to, reverse this and then say, okay, convince the consumer and then go on selling more and more products from your side, wherein you're selling poha also in the name of Patanjali. Please give me a break. Okay? Because I am an Indori, naturalized Indori, so to say. So if you say you're selling poha in the name of Ayurveda or in the name of Swadeshi, I feel really offended. Okay? Thank you so much. Poha is poha. You don't have to make it, call it Swadeshi or sell it in the name of Patanjali. Okay, so this kind of, to that extent, he has gone a bit overboard in the sense of, using certain names and, this thing. Now we discussed company, we discussed customers, context, complementers and collaborators. And complementers, most of these are third-party players. Anyone can shed some light on the third-party players, whether they'll be benefiting this company in the long run. Having your production outsourced, will it benefit the company in the long run? You have reached $3.5 billion mark, but would you reach a $10 billion mark with a third-party manufacturer? What sort of problems you will start encountering? That's what we'll discuss now. If it is a third-party fellow.
It will be difficult to address because they will compromise on the quality, sir. They will not be at par with what they are making if you get into with the third-party vendors. So I think there has to be some collaboration wherein you work on the like PPP model, like you provide certain machinery quality at standard, like what McDonald's do, right? So that way you'll be able to achieve. Otherwise, it will be difficult to reach to $10 billion mark.
Precisely. What Amit mentioned is about standardization. I think when you say you're using third parties, yes, McDonald's uses third parties. It uses franchising model to kind of sell its services, its products. Never mind. But it also keeps a hawk's eye on everyone. Every single element of your organization is being taken care of. Okay? Because it is not that individual franchisee in Indore or some other place who will be held responsible for something going wrong. It will be the McDonald's neck at stake. So in that sense, to some extent, in the initial days to cut costs and all, I think you can use third-party vendors to kind of supply products to you. But if you want to jump from $3.5 billion to, let us say, $7 billion, I think there requires a lot of standardization. And as Amit pointed out, I think helping them with their machinery, establishing standard operating procedures, establishing quality standards, and regularly auditing and monitoring all those standards to ensure that there won't be any mistakes. Just like your Johnson & Johnson, having a lot of problems with Tylenol, with powders and so many other things. Such problems will occur once you become bigger and bigger. So you have to ensure that your reliance on third parties are slowly coming down and you have your own factories. Further, you should also ensure that even if there is a third party, he should be working with all the rules and regulations that we have established so that there is no variation in the product or there is no deterioration in the product that you are selling in the name of Patanjali. Because at the end of the day, it is Patanjali's name which will be under the chopping board. Samir, what do you have to say?
Say when they are outsourcing the production, largely they outsource to a small to mid-sized production company. So they have very limited bandwidth to expand. Say now they have increased the growth, like now the demand would be higher. So in order to meet the demand, they like no either they have to add multiple vendors, and when they are adding multiple vendors, first problem like no they'll not be able to maintain the consistency. Second,
Yes.
the limited bandwidth of expanding of the current vendor is also like no impact the quality as well as the timing of the delivery.
Yes. So, when you say you conceptualized the business very nicely, Tarang raised his hand. I want him to, just come after me and then we'll take a break. So, when you say that you have robust conceptualization at your core, great. You have, created a business which is a growing business. But, every concept has its own time and space and scope for which to which it can grow. Okay, something like take a rat and an elephant, my favorite example. You conceptualize a rat and it has got a scope to become so much, and you say, sir, we can do a little bit of lab experiments and then feed a little more nourished food and all that. But because the conceptualization was only for a rat, all that you can do is terms of increasing it to the size of a bandicoot, isn't it? That's the only maximum potential to which the rat can grow. After that, it will blow, isn't it? But when you say you want to become bigger, which means that you started off with a rat, that's okay, fine. Now you have to change your conceptualization to a baby elephant. So when you say with a baby rat and a baby elephant, the baby elephant has a potential to grow to $10 billion, whereas your baby rat only could become $2 billion. Okay, so now you have to conceptualize the things much better because you are facing a higher level competition. You're facing higher level threats now. And so a lot more organizing, lot more skills are required from your organization side, which is the reason why more professionalism is necessary, where, as it was pointed out, can I simply rely on those small and medium producers to continuously supply us? Now, for how long they'll be able to meet us? So if you want to grow to an elephant's size and become a $10 billion organization, I think it is better that you what you call slowly get rid of these small players and probably enlist bigger players who can invest bigger money in terms of producing larger volumes for you. You see? So you have to update the concept or conceptualization to ensure that the baby rat is converted into a baby elephant, and and it has got the potential to grow into a full-grown African elephant. You see, that is $10 billion or $15 billion that you're visualizing. So in that sense, because once you have created a robust concept, and created a big organization, it doesn't mean that it is going to survive forever. You also need to constantly update it. You also need to constantly grow ahead with that, which means if you want to become like Unilever, you just started on the path of Unilever. Okay, Unilever is a 120-year-old organization. You're only a 20-year-old organization, less than 20-year-old organization. So if you want to reach that 40 billion turnover of sorts, then you need to now start playing the game by the rules of Unilever. Okay, you could join the club of Unilever, Colgate, Palmolive, and Johnson & Johnson, whatever it is, by being unique. Okay, they allowed you into their club. Now, once you are in their club, you have to behave like a member in that club. Okay, you can't join the Calcutta Country Club and then say start acting like a country bumpkin. No, they'll kick you out. You can't go to a Calcutta coffee house and not be an intellectual. You have to be an intellectual, otherwise they'll kick you out. ओके कुछ तो भी पढ़ के जाओ, कम्युनिज्म के बारे में कुछ तो पता होना चाहिए, अदरवाइज कॉफी हाउस में एडमिशन नहीं मिलेगा। पहुंच गए कैसे तैसे कैपिटलिज्म भी बोल के, बट वहां जाके कम्युनिज्म बोलना पड़ेगा, रेड फ्लैग उठाना पड़ेगा, मार्क्सिज्म डिस्कस करना पड़ेगा,
So you
isn't
need to
it?
learn and know about football.
And you have to learn the football or play the football, is it? You cannot simply talk about cricket and all that. Okay, so in that sense, I think you have been given entry into the country club because you have got the ability to become such a big businessman. But once you got the entry, you can't behave like a non-business person. You have to behave like them, which means you have to learn to be as professional as they are. You have to have that professional workforce. You should be able to raise resources like them. You should build human capabilities and technological capabilities like them. And you should also be able to market yourself in a different way, in a conventional way, just like a Unilever or a Colgate Palmolive does. Okay, so your whatever little tricks have helped you to join that club doesn't mean you go there and play those tricks, because they'll kill you. Okay, so if you want to survive this game, now you have to adapt yourself and start playing the game by the rules that were laid out by all these multinational corporations. Okay, because Kevin Kerr couldn't do that, Kevin Kerr, what you call, just dissipated his energies unnecessarily in getting into unnecessary stupid businesses in the name of growing. It has lost its chance of becoming a $1 billion club member, you see. So in that sense, I think that is where the crux for the future lies in the organization. So when we come back, we'll just spend 5 minutes time on this in terms of your suggestions to Patanjali for the future, and then move on to talk about the most favorite, most sexist of the products, that is deodorant. Okay, so take a break because it is already 11:50. I think I'll come back at 12:05. Okay, I'll just switch off the mic and the camera.
Okay, sir. Sure. Thank you.
So this organization, Patanjali, has very good concept at its core. That is the reason why it had the ability to rise to the $3.5 billion business. And it has carefully cultivated the consumers and was able to change their behavior over a period of time, which is what we teach in marketing. That is, as a marketer, you should be able to control the relationship between yourself and the consumer. That's when you will be able to constantly give them suggestions, and like parrots, they will go on taking those things and they go on repeating it. Like the Jayaprakash example of Colgate, telling us at one point in time that it is not a good thing to use charcoal. But after turning around 25 years, it is able to come back and tell us that charcoal is good for us. So charcoal toothpaste, charcoal toothbrush, and so many other things it is able to launch. Which means Colgate has gripped us and is kept us in its confidence, which is the reason why when after some decades it is able to give us the suggestion, we're able to listen to it and we are following it. You see, that is the most important thing. So in that way, the carefully nurtured relationships with the customers, the organization Patanjali is able to carefully provide the suggestions that you should accept all the products, whether it is cosmetic, whether it is other FMCG food items or any other items, not just the Ayurvedic pharmaceutical products from Patanjali, but every product that Patanjali is launching, please accept it. However absurd it might sound, they also were interested in launching Patanjali jeans. I don't know to what extent that has gone ahead, but one mistake that the organization did was not to launch Khadi jeans, but launching jeans in its original sense of an import from a multinational perspective. That's where you will defy the Swadeshi angle. And to the youth, and most importantly to those 35-year-old people, I think that's a very, very bad trick you are playing on them, because they've already been duped by multinational corporations like Colgate, And thanks to social media, they realized that the education that they received in the school is dubious, and they're trying to come to terms with it. They're learning the new facts, okay? They're learning the new history. Now, if you also fall in the same this thing, then the trust that you have built with your products might go away, which is the reason why you cannot bring in an alien concept like jeans and call it Swadeshi because it has been produced in India and stitched in Bangladesh and we're all Akhanda Bharat and all that nonsense will not work. Okay, so if you're interested in launching khadi products, if you're interested in launching handloom products, and then name it Patanjali, and like Fab India, if you launch, retail outlet sort of a thing, I think that might still work. Okay, so in that sense, I think such mistakes can become really costly for you, even if the political regime is in your favor, because to some extent, the political regimes can help a business. But beyond the point, it's the consumer who is going to decide your future. And most importantly, the human resources. Okay, so you might have the trade mentality, you might have that, uncalculated risk-taking ability and all that stuff, as long as you are a small player, not in the billion-dollar club. But the moment you join the billion-dollar club, you need the professionals who run the organization like it is a multinational corporation. So unless you bring in such skillful people who are well trained in the best possible institutions, it's a problem, because the existing fellows, however good their experience is, however great their experience is, might not be able to visualize things the way they are supposed to be, which is why you are in this course, isn't it? You have years of experience. All that you need is sharpening of those rough edges that you have, isn't it? You know the idea. The only thing is you are in this course, you're in this class because you want to polish those ideas so that they'll be accepted in the meetings wherever you're presenting them. You're speaking in the language which will be acceptable to those people in the higher rungs. It's as simple as that. It is for that reason you are here. So if you say this organization is to go to the next level in the billion-dollar club, it has to bring in such human resources which have got the ability to run along with the times. So, and at the same time, again, you at one point in time, you might say that you were, not interested and your sales were happening with advertising. But now that it is no more a new thing, that is Ayurveda or, Swadeshi is no more a new thing for us, I think it has become a regular phenomena, which means it requires regular reminders like Filmi Sitaram Ka Saundarya Sabun Lux. Okay, when it was launched and Vaijayanti Mala was the brand ambassador for Lux, I think women went gaga that Filmi Sitaram Ka Saundarya Sabun Lux. But over a period of time, Lux has been associated with the Bollywood damsels. And so, unless you remind the consumer that it is still continuing to care for the best of the skin that is there in the Bollywood with the latest damsel that is selling in the market, you will not be able to be in the market. You will not be Lux anymore. Okay, so Patanjali is almost stepping into that times because it's been 20 years that you've been selling Swadeshi idea, which means there are already 3 generations of people. If we, not go with the old idea of a generation being 10 years, my colleague from the Humanities and Social Sciences, Professor Surabhi Dayal, tells me that Bhavani, the generation gap is reduced to 3 to 5 years. So every 5 years, we are doling out a generation. Please don't think that what techniques that worked for you in 2015 are going to work in 2020. What worked in 2020 is never going to work in 2025. So it is very difficult for us professors to change ourselves every 5 years, every 3 years, because we are encountering a new generation altogether. So this generation of consumers who have already seen Patanjali being used by their parents are naturalized into that, which means, they will buy it, but it is a regular product for them, which means you're falling in the normal marketing domain. You're no more special, which means you have to constantly bother the consumer with your advertising. Okay, which means Ogilvy and Matar ka chakkar lagate rehna padega. or more and more advertisements dena padega. And probably after 5 years, you may also have to bring in some film stars and other influencers so that you will be able to sell this product. Because your single-handed attempt of selling all products in the name of Ramdev Baba might not work. Okay, but you say there is that old man from MDH Masala, no? That Dadaji. That Dadaji is still continuing. They're trying to change the Dadaji into a fictitious Dadaji, isn't it, recently?
Right.
What's your idea on that?
So they cannot actually replicate, because the Mahashidi Hatti is totally, different. The way people used to correlate with the old Baba, and the new Baba is just a depiction of what he was. But as a brand ambassador, he cannot put forward and create that mass audience. That's what I can feel of.
Arpit?
Sir, I think that MDH Mashadi Hatti, the original founder, is no longer alive.
Yes.
So that's why, and the original founder is gone.
So a grand old father's image is what they are trying to create. It is no more that Dadaji. But all of us, at least in this classroom, relate with that Dadaji only. Okay, not with the newer version of the Dadaji, but I would like that old Dadaji with a real mustache, not the fake mustache that this clown is putting up. Okay, so in that sense, I think there is one generation which has grown up with that Dadaji, so they believe in that Dadaji only. You will have to live with that. But slowly you'll have to also transition and convince people like me and you that the Dadaji is no more. So we cannot use him in the advertisement anymore. He will be part of the legacy. He'll be a part of the packaging. But we are trying to change it, and then we are introducing a new model in his name. Okay. So this transition has to happen. Same is the case for your Ramdev also. And one advantage with MDH is that it is only selling spices. It has never diversified into producing cookers and all that, you see. So they are selling only one thing, so one ambassador would be good for them. But you are trying to sell everything under the sun in the name of fast-moving consumer goods, and most people might not be able to relate some of the products that you're trying to sell with Ramdev. Also, it's been 20 years that we are already seeing you as an ambassador. Okay, some of us are used to seeing you, but I think familiarity breeds contempt in the sense that we are also not interested in you in one sense. See, also we don't want to see only your face every now and then. That is also a problematic thing, because some of the products, the ideology of that product and the ideology of Baba don't match together, like a face cream or a face wash. Now, there is no way that Baba is using that face wash, right? So it is not possible for a girl to relate with a Dadiwala Baba when she talks about a face wash or a face cream. So she needs another beautiful girl to represent that particular thing. So in that sense, now somehow this sort of segmentation, and then, for every segment of those products or product categories, if it is possible for them to create a model or bring in a model or a brand personality or a film star or somebody, I think they need to think about that now, slowly, if they want to go ahead and do this. Also, one more important thing, just because your father was convinced that Dharmendra or Amitabh Bachchan were a great hero, you are not. We all grew up with Shah Rukh Khan as our hero, isn't it? Now, just because I like Shah Rukh Khan, it doesn't mean that my daughter will like Shah Rukh Khan. Okay? There is no possibility, So the Shah Rukh Khan's market is still there. It's largely because of all those girls and boys who had, adored him. They dragged their children up to the teenage age to the theaters. But the moment the big child became a teenager, he started saying, "Thank you so much. I think he's too old for what he's doing on the screen," you see. And the child says, "No, I will not come along with you. Thank you so much." Okay, so then there is that divide, so you cannot say that the whole family will come and watch your movie. Your old fans are still continuing, but their children are not continuing that legacy that you are expecting them to. The same thing will happen to this brands also, in the sense that to some extent we will relate with you, but the next and next generations, they'll not be able to relate with a person. So can that person turn into, or can the person go into the background, and can the products come into the forefront, and can you make them a brand? Now that's the next big task for this organization. You see, so no more an individual trying to be a brand for all. Sami.
Professor, I have one question here. The way you said, like, no, so can it mean like, suppose if you're keeping a brand ambassador for a longer time, it will have a impact on attracting a new set of customer over a period of time?
Yes. Yes, it will be, because see, if the person, and that again depends on the nature of the product. If the nature of the product is about reliability, is about something to do with a very bigger pain point of the consumer, like say an insurance or a heart surgery or eye care or something like that, I think we would want the same person to continue, because that's a long-term relationship that you're looking for, a long-term solution that you're looking for. Whereas for a very chirpy product like a face wash, for a very effervescent product like a soft drink or something, I do not want Amitabh Bachchan to tell me that I should drink Sprite. Thank you so much, sir. You may be, what you call young at heart, but you are severely old. Okay, so move out. It's as simple as that. So again, come back to the nature of the product. In terms of the Ayurveda products, in terms of that reliability and the health that they bring in, I think you can definitely keep Ramdev Baba in the forefront, and he can always be the brand ambassador for those products. But when it comes to those products which constantly, kind of require that rejuvenation, because because of the age or the other effervescence factors which are associated with the nature of the product, you have to change the person. Otherwise, he becomes too old and I cannot relate with that person. It's as simple as that. Like I give you the example, when we watched all that Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge, what is that song? Mere Khabo Mein Jo Aaye. Okay? When I heard that, because I was a teenager and dumb, I don't mind. I used to listen to the song and I was very happy and all that. But when I look at the same song now, I feel very sad, because it's Lata Mangeshkar, who is 65-year-old woman, who is singing for an 18-year-old young girl. Nothing wrong in that. But the thing is, in the background, I always see that old woman, no youth. You see? So our bhajan guy, like M.S. Subbalakshmi, is timeless, because she's only singing about Rama, Vishnu, Lakshmi, Krishna. So she can always, grow 90-year-old and, she can sing the song. I don't mind. But Lata Mangeshkar, ma'am, please, we like you, but go away. Thank you. At the age of 65, if you're still singing for a 16-year-old girl who's fallen in love for the first time, you're spoiling the mood for all the teenagers. Thank you. So that's the problem. It's because of Yash Chopra, this lady sang all those songs. Otherwise, they would have kicked her out. It's as simple as that. Because she's an old woman. Her voice is so damn old. You see? So she's not fit for a young girl. It's as simple as that. So please consider the nature of the product. If it is the mother of that heroine, definitely Lata Mangeshkar would do. But it is the heroine. So there is that age difference between these two girls, you see. One is a 65, one is a 60. So because of that, I think there is that thing needs to be aligned. And that's when you need to, it's not worrying about a talent or something like that. Anybody can sing, even a trained monkey can sing. But whether that monkey can sing in the, in the youth tone, which is liked by the youngsters, is what is needed. So this is the example that I would like to give. So please remember the nature of the product before you take any of the decisions. And when you say if the nature of the product is aligned with everything that you are lining up in the organization, then I think you are taking the right call. and whatever decisions that you're taking, there is a chance that they'll be more successful in that sense. Otherwise, you have to push that success.
Sir,
It will be a failure.
sorry, I have interrupted you.
Yes, no problem.
I just wanted to ask one question here. Say, these days you must have seen, like, no, Amitabh Bachchan is featuring in one of the ad where, like, no, Amit ji loves Bikaji. I don't know how.
What Bikaria?
Bikaji, the snacks.
Snacks. Okay, ठीक है.
Yeah. So how this product is related with the age?
In the sense, if you say that, sometimes, on the background, these things work based on the network. They're still wanting to milk the old cow dry, and, they think that Amitabh Bachchan is still ruling the roost and all that. But, to me, he's a dinosaur, and probably, many a times it's not the marketing managers, because one of my colleagues who used to come here teach, she worked in PNG, and she said, Bhavani, our students are never going to decide who the brand ambassador is. You may be telling all logical things that this is how the alignments or other things that you have to decide. But वो बीकाजी कामा का पुराना बंदा होगा जो 55 years का है, जिसने अमिताभ जी को एंग्री यंग मैन की तरह देखा था, तो उसको जब डिसीजन लेने का मौका मिला, he said Amitabh, that's it. Whereas the Ogilvy and Mather fellows will tell him that, sir, it is very difficult to pull the crowd, and if you're really interested in selling these snacks to the young age fellows, Amitabh doesn't have any say in those fellows. Please don't choose him. But that is only a suggestion that the company can provide. Whereas the decision lies with Bikaji snacks or whatever it is, the proprietor has to decide. And the proprietor is enamored with Amitabh Bachchan, which is the reason why he says, I want to. Like your Kent purifier water, Hema Malini ji. I don't know how much plastic surgery that woman will go through, my God. She's already become like a plastic doll. And she puts up so much fake wig and all that, my God. I really don't want to look at her. Only Biharis and UP people. Please don't mind her. Those fellows only are still enamored with Hema Malini, but otherwise I think that she is a mummy anymore. Not the mummy of her children, but mummified mummy from Egypt. But still, because somebody might have had, oh my God, Hema Malini is an eternal beauty, and she is the symbol of whatever, she's like Cleopatra and all that. And easily, they're continuing her as a brand ambassador. But otherwise, I would like to take the latest damsel in the Bollywood and somebody who is very health conscious and stuff like that, and if any one of these latest girls, like your, the latest girl who's got married, who's that? So
Alia
Shersha fellow. Alia Bhatt is like, I have serious problems with that girl. But the other one who featured in Shersha, some Kaira Advani.
Kaira
Advani or Kaira Advani, whatever it is. Okay, so if she is young and beautiful and she is very fit and fine and all that, I'd like her to come and advertise for me, because that's where all the young audience are. And who is Hema Malini? I don't know. If you show her to my child, she says, some auntie, that's it. She's just an auntie for her. Whereas the young girl, a young heroine, probably my daughter might have seen, her in a film or something. She's impressed. And someone like Rashmika Mandana or somebody would sell more water purifiers. But if the CEO is obsessed with Hema Malini, he might say that, no, I want Hema only. Fine, as long as you are happy and the sales are still going on and Hema is able to lobby for you in the Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha, whatever it is, it's fine, you can sell the products. So some of these things that we teach in the class might not work because the CEO, COO, or the person who is deciding who the brand ambassador is exactly not following the rules by the book. And yes, if they succeed in it, they'll come back and tell us that, what they don't teach you at IIM Indore, they'll write a book about it. But, they're also trying to take a huge risk in the sense of, putting up Hema Malini instead of Kaira Advani and then say, oh, if your sales are not going well, they'll blame it on the competition. You see, that is always there, So Sandeep ji, you raised your hand. What was it? And please don't take me into Bollywood. I really don't have very good opinion about anybody in Bollywood.
No, I just wanted to ask what Samir asked about Amit ji. Okay, so now I think his age he's above 82. And God forbid if something happens to him, that is going to happen in a day, So suddenly one morning we are going to see the news. So how these brands are going to manage, because a lot of money has been put on the ads, they're running, and Amit ji loves Bikaji, how they're going to manage on the very second day if it happens in Diwali?
Yes.
That was my question.
That's a huge risk that you are trying to take.
Can I answer to this, sir?
Yes, please, Gautamji.
Yeah. So, rightly said, that's a big risk. At the same time, if touch wood, it should not happen to anyone, God forbid, like that scenario. But at the same time, let's see, you are using Amitabh Bachchan in one of your ads, and something happens. And if you are clever enough as a brand manager and creatively, you can use it on your favor. Honestly, and there are example of brands in past, they have done that also and got a whole lot of mileage.
So अमिताभ जी को याद करते हुए हम सब लोग 2 मिनट का मौन रखेंगे, फिर दो दिन 2 हफ्तों तक बिका जी का स्नैक्स खाते रहेंगे, something like that. So sorry, I think I hope Times Pro will not release this into the market and all that. नहीं तो वो अर्नब गोस्वामी मेरा पीछे पड़ जाएगा, ये प्रोफेसर क्या पढ़ा रहे हैं IIM में बोल के. Okay, this is between me and my students. This is an agreement between me and my students. And Times Pro people should help us, because उनका चैनल भी है, न्यूज चैनल. वो नाविका मैडम मेरे को पकड़ लेगी तो मैं मर जाऊंगा. So in that sense, I think one has to be very careful with respect to, and this is definitely a bet, Samir ji. And as Sandeep ji asked and Gautam ji answered, is it really, are you clever enough to use that sentiment? So in there, you'll have to turn like Ramdev Baba to convert that adversity into an opportunity for yourself and then sell. Also, you should have a backup plan as to how are you going to, now that you have taken a pinnacle as an example, that is Amitabh Bachchan, who is going to replace him? So if he has been there, like for First Cry, I would definitely love Amitabh Bachchan to be the brand ambassador, because he is a father and a grandfather. And so I think he very well fits into that particular brand. And because of that, I think, there is that little bit of this thing is there, but you also need to find out, is it possible for me to have another person with a similar legacy to replace Amitabh Bachchan if he is gone? Who will do this replacement? Who is the next person to do it? Do you want Sharmila Tagore, because she has also got these things? But do you have that kind of very acceptable social image as a grandfather or as a grandmother? That's very important. So if you want to take a mother and a child, you will definitely go with Aishwarya Rai rather than Sushmita Sen. Okay? No offense, but she is a real mother and another one is an artificial mother. Now you may say, sir, at a utopian level, everybody is a mother, one is a Yashoda, one is a Devaki and all that. That's fine, because it is God, Devaki and Yashoda they have also a background as to why they have become the mothers and all that. But in here, the original mother is Aishwarya Rai. So for original selling of products, it is always necessary for you to use Aishwarya Rai as a mother and a child rather than a Sushmita Sen. However good she may be with her children. It's as simple as that, because the alignment is not proper. But if somebody is very much interested and is a big fan of Sushmita Sen, and they might take her. And then how do you present her makes all the difference. So if you say you made a choice, how are you going to narrate the story to the consumer? And then you are taking Yashoda as an example, not Rukmini, not Devaki, and then trying to narrate the story, and then you brought the Sushmita angle into it, then people are okay, fine with it. So again, you need to use that little bit of this thing. But at the end of the day, please think, what is the nature of your product and is it going very well or not? Yes, some exceptions are always there, but be prepared. Yeah. Then let's come to this deodorant industry. Now, in this deodorant industry, when we are talking about these various, this ones, that is, what are we talking about in here? Dealing with competition. And in the dealing with the competition, one most important thing that I wanted to share with you, some children, they want their children to be models, huh? Okay, good. That is possible, yes. So let me just show you this small thing. Once we discuss
Sorry,
this,
sir,
then
can I interrupt?
just a moment. Yeah, Sakshi, go ahead.
Sir, I just wanted to ask, when we are talking about marketing analysis toolkit, so what would we sum up the advertising campaigns which we use? I mean, I just want to correlate
No.
with
When
all
you
the
say
cases which we have
a
done.
marketing analysis toolkit that we talked about, it consists of these 5 factors that you will have to worry about. That is the customers.
Okay.
How are you helping the customer by identifying their pain points? We discussed that how Patanjali did it. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we talked about the context as to the demography of 35-year-old fellows have been tapped in. An economic value has been created for the country, and the wave of Swadeshi and Ayurveda has been ridden for your socio-cultural factors. Then the political regime was also in favor of this organization, which is why it was very much helpful. Then technological environment, in the sense they haven't used so much of it because they are getting away with less of scrutiny because their products are Ayurvedic rather than cosmetic, which have to go through a lot of trials. Okay, so that's where I think now when you say you move to the next rung of the business billion-dollar club, you will have to use more of technology. You will have to prove more of yourself, your results, standardization, and all those aspects that we talked about in the technological realm. Then the natural environment part of it. I only have one thing to talk about. I think, when you say that most of your products are Ayurvedic, how many cows are there in India? Are they producing enough milk? Because cow is always what you call less, it produces less milk compared to the buffalo, So how are you able to produce so much of cow ghee when the number of cows in this country don't match with the numbers of liters of ghee that you're selling? Okay, one. And when you say talk about more cows, I think people are also accusing you of more methane. How do you deal with it? Second most important thing that you have to answer is, ये जड़ी बूटी सब आ कहाँ रहा है, कहाँ से आ रहा है? ये हिमाचल प्रदेश इतना पिद्दी सा स्टेट है? And when Uttar Pradesh state mein you are growing all the herbs which you are using for all the creams, all the soaps, all the detergents, and all whatever for the whole country. ये possible है? मुझे नहीं लगता possible है. So दंतकांति में उतना ही आयुर्वेद है जितना बॉलीवुड में sincerity. But you are able to sell the concept, you see. So that is what it is. So when it comes to when you join the billion-dollar club, I think that's where you will be caught. Now, till now you have never been caught in the name of Ayurveda, but because you haven't joined the club of billion-dollar businesses. But now that you have joined them, they will say, how much are you spending on climate change? How are you extracting the resources? Are you ESG compliant? And what is happening with all the effluents that are coming out of your plants? Please give us a report of that. Okay? ये लोग अभी आपके पीछे हाथ धो के पड़ेंगे. So in the name of natural environment, now Patanjali needs to step up. That's where you need to recruit people from higher institutions who can speak the ESG language, and you can put in all those facilities which will enable the environment, and also sell the CSR concept and also sell this idea of climate change to the public. You see? So this is what we have to talk about. When you say analysis toolkit में this context, and then competition के बारे में तो हमने बात किया था. फिर collaborators जो हमने बात किया था, जो medium and small type लोग हैं, you cannot rely on them for a very long time. You need to have those standardized processes and all that. And then finally the company itself, is it the company or is it the Baba that you're talking about? Okay, Baba helped you to reach up to $3.5 billion. But if you want to be reaching $7 billion, can you rely only on Baba? Who is the next to this thing? You have to now rely on the company, and you have to establish the image of a company. You cannot solely rely on one individual. Okay, so those are all the aspects that you have to worry about when you're talking about the marketing analysis toolkit. That is how we have discussed the Patanjali case. Okay, Sakshi? Hannah? Gautamji, you had something.
Yeah, so Professor, so to sum up basically at this moment the corrections which probably they need to think of Patanjali at that particular time, or probably now also. One is of course Baba Ramdev's, the dependency on Baba Ramdev's fees. They are over reliance on that typically. Of course, that is, they need to make a transition on that. At the same time, they also need to think the other competitors, the multinational brands can rope in one of the life coach and can teach in the same model. That's one. Again, the second point is very important. They are facing couple of legal issues, in couple of places, which again, they need to, the brand image is somehow hurting them. What I felt overall with the case study and also from other research and all, Patanjali's limited global presence. They are going in the Swadeshi line. There can be other brands also, but they have a global presence where the Patanjali lab typically. And of course, I'm sure very soon or near, the regulatory scrutinies will going to faced by Patanjali also. The products in India, it's in other Western countries and all, this kind of products goes through a lot of tests, lot of safety and efficacies and all, but we are not sure of. And the going forward till this generation, what you said rightly, the age of 35 plus, they had a faith on Ramdev Baba and they blindly followed. But the younger generation, the next generation, millennials and all, they will come up with the question, when you are teaching this product, what is the validity of that? What is behind? So these are the kind of the points where Patanjali probably need to think of going ahead.
On the environmental point of view also of the production and the other sourcing point of view, how you are aligning yourself, these things are also to be taken care of. The entire product rebranding has to be done. Means, if it is to be taken in a futuristic model.
And they have increased the price by 33%, 3-4 years back.
It's now more or less same kind of a product. It's not a cheap value for money product. So,
yes.
Lot of things have to be done.
Also, another last point I just want to, before ending, what we also discussed, since they can't manufacture all the products and they are going through the third-party manufacturer and vendors, which is precisely a kind of a franchisee model, they need to be very strict on a kind of a FOCO model kind of which is franchisee owned, company operated. They can't go with just a FOFO model where franchisee owned, franchisee operated. That then it's going to be again big problem for them.
Because people are waiting for the opportunity. See till now it's also very nice to see, if I insult you on the street just because you are a challenger, if I insult you on the street from my Bentley, I'm actually reducing my image. So even if you throw a stone or a water balloon at my Bentley, I will not do anything to you. Okay, I'll keep quiet. But you did it outside of the country club gate, which is the reason why I kept quiet. But once I see you inside the country club, then I will show you my colors. Okay, in the way that you can't imagine. And the way I will insult you, you will not even know that I have insulted you. And it will take an year for you, or probably 6 months for you to realize that you've been insulted. And then, oh my God, this fellow took this thing, whatever, the retaliatory measure was coming after 6 months. And I'm able to realize it after 6 months, which means 1 year gap between the two insults, response and, the insult. So we had one prof like that, Professor Devi Prasad Mishra at IRMA. He used to teach us OB as well as written analysis and communication. The beauty or the skill that Professor Devi Prasad Mishra carried was that when he insults you in the class, you won't even realize that he has insulted you. Okay. It's only everybody else in the class realizes that you are a buffoon. and you will continue to talk to the prof only to realize in the break that he's made a donkey out of you. And in the next class, you are properly talking to him in the way that he expects you to speak, which means for the next 4 sessions you will not speak. You will only prepare and you listen and you understand how the prof wants the answers, and only in the 5th session you will start answering his questions, and if you are falling in line, you see. So in the sense, when you say, I think people are waiting for an opportunity, and there are a lot of such opportunities for multinational corporations to get back at you because you just started the game. So your price difference is normalized. That is what Theodore Levitt says, that or Porter says that your prices, that differentiation will be normalized pretty soon. Everybody will catch up because they are also able to increase their efficiency. And then your Ayurveda thing is also being normalized because Dabur has upped its ante, and then you have your Himalayas, which is trying to sell itself much better. There are so many small startups which are trying to sell to the niche audience and trying to cater the best possible this thing. So what was once only your forte has been disseminated, and people are using it now left, right, and center. Okay, like Godi media, our Ravish Kumar used to use this word called Godi media and all that. Now I used to thought that government of Modi media, that is Godi media. But then I realized that somebody told me it is Godi, which is a lap of a mother. That is Godi, and then Godi media. So he started it first and popularized it, but now everybody is using that word. So it is no more in the prerogative, a prerogative of only Ravish to use it. Everybody else can use it. So he lost it. He needs to now come up with another jargon to, hit at someone or criticize someone or something like that. So in that sense, I think your Patanjali needs to be very careful from now on as to how it is going to, when all the differences and uniquenesses of its own got normalized, how it is going to establish its presence once again. Which means you will have to understand 2 important words. One is competitive advantage and one is competitive edge. Competitive advantage is what we want because this is where things are unique for you. Whereas comparative advantage, that is, you know what, you are selling your product at 15 rupees, I am selling my product at 10 rupees. There is a comparative advantage for the consumer. If he goes with Patanjali, he is saving 5 rupees. Okay. Whereas if he goes with Colgate, he has to spend that extra 5 rupees. So there is a comparative advantage. What has happened over the period of time is that Colgate has increased its efficiency and is able to stabilize the price at 15 only. It is not increasing its price, it is stabilizing it for the next 7 years. Whereas because to fund your expansions, to fund your growth, to fund your advertising, you are to now raise resources, which is the reason why you're increasing the price to 15. Okay, now both of you are normalized. Okay, so there is no more comparative advantage that is left with you. Comparative advantage can always be copied. Can always, an equilibrium will be established by time itself. Whereas competitive advantage is something that is only you can do. Okay, what you can do cannot be done by somebody else. So this should be the speciality of the organization. So now the main responsibility of the authorities of Patanjali is to figure out what is that uniqueness that they need to sell again to move from $3.5 billion company to $7 billion company. It cannot be only Ayurveda. Ayurveda, you have milked the cow dry. Okay? Everybody is milking the cow dry. But if you want to go to the next level, you need to do something and leapfrog to the next level. Then only you will be able to join that $7 billion club. Otherwise, you'll be stuck in $3.5 billion club only. So those are all the important elements that you need to worry about when you say you are talking about this. Now, let us let me share this thing. I've anyway explained all the different aspects of the market follower, market nicher, market challenger and all. But in the deodorant case, I'm very much interested to first just to revise this particular thing so that it gives a context for us. The market challenger. Somebody who is interested in, acting like a David in front of a Goliath. This fellow is a challenger. A market challenger can attack the market leader, or underfunded firms of its own size, or small local and regional firms gobble them up so that he can become bigger, or maintain status quo. Okay, so to what you're trying to do is, if there is somebody like Unilever in the market, Patanjali entered as a challenger, and it challenged, say Colgate Palmolive, sorry, not Unilever, in the toothpaste front to begin with. Your Kevin Care has challenged Unilever on the front of Fair and Lovely with its Fairever Fairness cream. Your Nirma challenged Unilever with its detergent Nirma for its surf. And as a retaliatory measure, Fair and Lovely's advertisement has gone up, and more versions of Fair and Lovely have come up to tackle Fairever Fairness cream. And a wheel detergent powder, Rin Shakti detergent powder, was launched to counter the Nirmas and Gadis of the world. And then your Colgate Veda Shakti was launched to kind of counter the attack from the Dantakanti. So you're trying to hit at the market leader because you found out that the market leader, because he's such a big Goliath, he's unable to spot certain markets which are available, but because he's so big, he's unable to spot them. You're able to spot all those things, and you're able to soak up all those markets. And in this process, you are absorbing all those underfunded firms and trying to become bigger to grab their market share also, and become a challenger to the market leader. And you will anyway remove the small local regional firms, or you yourself are a regional firm trying to become a national firm, and you're trying to challenge the status quo that exists in the market, that there are only 2 players or 3 players. Okay, now there are only 2 players in the effervescent drink market, that is called Coca-Cola and PepsiCo. Now your Reliance wants to enter in to challenge the status quo between Coca-Cola and Pepsi and say, I am the 3rd player with Campa, and I'm interested in challenging you with my drinks. You see, so that way the challenger finds out opportunities, and he finds out different segments, and with the entry of the challenger, the market always increases. So a market challenger can follow any of these 5 strategies. He can do frontal attack, something like matching the opponent's product, advertising, price, distribution, and stuff like that. So sometimes when you say you want to match the advertising, and you want to reduce the price so as to attract the consumers, but you're giving advertisements talking about the same value proposition that the competitor is also talking about, and here you are trying to on the face of it attack. That is, Fairever Fairness cream is also going to convert you within 4 weeks, not 6 weeks, from black to dark skin to white skin. The principle of force says the side with the greater resources will win. Okay, here not just this resources in the sense of not just the money, but resources in terms of ideas with which you are able to attack this monster or Goliath. So your Fairever, when it launched itself, it was wanting to attack on the beauty front, but nobody will trust them, which is the reason why it said, oh, you don't need to wait for 6 weeks to lighten your skin color, but we'll only give you within 4 weeks, we will give you this thing, because we have got saffron in it. You see, so that special edition of saffron is considered to be, because mothers, expecting mothers are fed saffron through milk to ensure that the baby is healthy and her color is good and all that, or whatever it is. So they have used that sentiment to change the wave, and they were able to establish. So it's not just the money, it's also the ideas, force of the ideas, force of the concepts that you're bringing in. Then flank attack. It identifies shift that causes gap to develop the market, then rushing to fill in that gap. That is, okay, India was growing, but surf was stuck with only middle class audience. So, your Kasam Bhai Patel identified that there is this lower middle class which cannot afford surf. So there was this crack which was not identified by your Unilever, which is been identified by Karsanbhai Patel, and he launched the Nirma detergent powder to fill that gap. And thereby, he has created one more segment, and he has given an idea to a multinational corporation to launch a product like Veer or Rin Shakti. That is flank attack. Encirclement attack, wherein, to capture wide slice of territory by launching a grand offensive on several fronts. That is what your Ramdev Baba is trying to do. He is attacking you in the name of Videshi. He is attacking you in the name of, chemicals versus Ayurveda, Videshi versus Swadeshi, chemicals versus Ayurveda. He is also attacking you in the name of the bourgeois and the lower middle class, you see. So, and on different fronts, he is trying to take on. At one point in time, he has also launched this Discovery Jeet channel, wherein there was a biopic of sorts in a series format, in which they were trying to showcase how Ramdev Baba has broken the barriers of school, broken the barriers of college, and broken the barriers of corporate. So in that sense, I think he was not just trying to, sell whatever little aura he has, but he was also trying to sell that rags to riches, middle class effort kind of a story. And he was attacking the multinational corporations on multiple fronts. Then bypass attack, bypassing the enemy altogether to attack easier markets instead of three lines approach. Diversifying into unrelated products, new geographies, and leapfrogging into new technologies. Definitely not leapfrogging into new technologies, but these 2 points of unrelated products and into new geographic markets is what your Patanjali has done. That is, it is not just attacking Colgate Palmolive, but it is attacking Johnson & Johnson. It is attacking SmithKline Beecham. It is attacking, your other Rickett and Benckiser. And it is attacking so many pharmaceutical companies. And it is entering into all unrelated products, and it is trying to sell as many products as possible. And it is entering into all those new areas or areas which were left uncovered by the existing multinational corporations. But I think when compared to the efforts of Unilever in the rural markets, I think your Patanjali still falls short in terms of reaching out to the rural areas in selling its products. I think it needs to also up its ante in that sense of reaching out to the rural areas, because that is where the consumption is going to happen. Because as of now, you are only reaching out to all those lower middle class audience in the urban areas, which is very easy to get because they're all congregating at a big space. The catchment area is easy for you. Whereas in the rural area, the catchment area is spread across so many villages. So you have to be very careful. So this bypass attack is only help you to reach 3.5 billion, but you need to improve your work in terms of reaching to the 7 billion. Then guerrilla attack consists of small intermittent attacks, conventional, unconventional, including selective price cuts, intense promotional blitzes, occasional legal action, and stuff like that. So here too, I would like to take the example of your Ramdev only, wherein he's trying to attack different different players, and always trying to get away with it. So in that sense, also he attracts a lot of legal suits for which they need to be prepared. So you need to be careful. If you say holier than thou, are you really as holy as you claim? So as long as you are not part of our country club, we'll allow you to remain holy. But once you join us, you'll have to prove yourself whether you're really holy or not. So we'll put you through lab experiments, you see. So that needs to be coming up now. So can the challenger only attack by designing and advertising new product? No, not necessarily. So it can be, you can do it in many, many fronts, in the sense, it's not necessary that you have to launch new product. It can be the same old product, like the detergent powder is the same old concept. But you have, figured out all other ways through which you are able to produce a low-cost detergent, which has never been produced because these consumers or this segment was never recognized as a marketable segment. Then in case of your Kevin Care, Chick shampoo. Shampoo was always considered to be an upper middle class sort of a product. Whereas your Chick proved that shampoo can be a universal thing. You see? ठीक है. Who has made the chips against this one, Sanyogita? Is it Patanjali who made chips also?
No, sir. I was just saying that, like when you were talking about cost.
Wafers and chips, no?
Yeah, so I was just giving that example when you said the cost effective Nirma.
Yes.
Yeah, so even Balaji chips, it also did the same thing, it competed with Lay's, a big brand like Lay's, by making cost effective chips. And a very good distribution network it had also.
Yes. But the only slight problem with Balaji chips when compared to the Lay's chips is if you are used to Lay's chips, they're very, very thin in nature. So your tongue won't hurt. If you eat one small packet, it's okay, fine. But I think the chemical that is used in, what you call spicing it up actually hurts your tongue a little bit later. Whereas
I agree there. Yes, they're mildly spiced. Yeah.
And then Balaji chips, if you're eating, it's not just the spice that is going to hurt you, but also the thickness of that slice. The chip is slightly thicker in whatever nanomilli, whatever you may units say. It's slightly thicker than your Lay's, and that's where you'll have to be very careful with your mouth, which means only if you're a youngster, I think, all these things are nice and handy for you. But, the age is catching up with you. You better be careful which chips are you eating, So, but the thing is, to answer point that was raised by Sakshi, it is not necessary that you always have to be innovative and invent something new and innovate, and invent, what you call a new product category altogether. No. But can you be unique and can you be different? Like in case of Balaji chips, it is the same concept of chips, which is Indianized and using the local flavors of each state wherever they are trying to sell. And most importantly, being, keeping the price conscious customer in mind. You see? So if you take examples of organizations like these, so Ghadi detergent powder, then your your Nirma detergent powder, then your Lijjat Papad, then your the Balaji wafers, then your Yellow Diamond children's chips and other stuff. All these organizations have figured out that there is some pain point that was left unaddressed by the competition, which is why they are coming into it. Okay, and then trying to, what you call challenge the status quo that exists in the market and say, because we are unique in our 7 P's, let us say product, price, place, promotion, or our people, process, physical evidence. The 7 P's, no? If you are able to get that uniqueness in one or the other, you've got the lever. You've got the lever to present yourself to the market and then win over the consumers. Now, that's where we are coming to this deodorant case. Now, when you say, what about this deodorant industry? How was it like prior 2000? Because there is a challenger that has entered into the market, afterwards, after 10 years, it was launched. But up till 2010, I think it is only all the other fellows, who were swaying. So what sort of advertisements were you seeing? What sort of products were these? I'm pretty sure you've all used all these earlier products. So what was the market like? Deodorant market.
It was around, around 970 million something, and the core player were like, the Aches or Park Avenues. But when FOB came into effect, I think one of the important factor which they've used, they got into the utilitarian approach rather than getting into the hedonic or emotional connect, which was more practical, more useful. And that's how their slogan, no gas perfume, kya chal raha hai, all these kind of slogan worked well, and they were able to achieve the market share.
Earlier, those American deodorant companies were there. They could not understand the Indian persona, the Indian buyer persona, and they could not, target the actual approach the segment that they were targeting.
Yes.
So this and it was not acceptable to the audience.
Whereas Axe was targeting only
products
the male counterparts basically, and they are attaching more to the emotional benefit of using a deodorant. Whereas when this fog came, it addresses the functional benefit that you'll get 800 sprays in this one bottle. Plus, they have also increased the targeting prospects by adding the female gender also. Which is not targeted by other brands. So functional benefits plus the increase.
I want to add, means once you are attacking a particular geography, you should understand the culture of the geography first.
Yes.
It is otherwise
Your voice is breaking, Sukhdev ji. You can switch off the video so that your audio might get a boost.
I think
No, we're completely lost. Perfect use of four piece everybody does. Just because it is a successful brand, you're saying, you're singing glories of fog or what? My friend used to use it on his chappals, Fog deodorant. We used to go into the nearby market and buy some 1 or 2 fog deodorants because he had the sweat problem, and he wears those leather, chappals, leather sandals. So, during summers, that leather actually smells because of the too much of this thing and all. So in his shoes and his sandals, he used to use fog deodorant. Okay. So that's how we started off.
And so you're right. I mean, that is one of the case. But I think what I saw was like you go to any grocery store, any local chemist, you will find it. It was available on all the shelves. That's how the companies like into chips, they were not able to compete with Lay's because it was everywhere. But I think the example which you gave on a cheaper side of it, as in it was cost effective, people were using it just to get away with the foul smell which was coming out of.
And you were made to realize, thank you, Sanyogita, for telling me that your cousin used, the Dove shampoo to wash her socks.
Dove soap.
Dove soap
He
to wash
told me.
socks.
Yeah, he told me that.
Oh, great. Because till now I have heard that ladies still use Johnson's baby soap because, they don't trust the normal soaps. They continue to use the baby soap for themselves as well as for their babies and all that. But
My mother-in-law uses baby creams only till now, Himalaya baby cream. Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. So in that sense, I think, this is the latest example. Very nice. Thank you, Sanyogita, for sharing this with me. I'll cross-pollinate in all PGP and other classes that Dove is also being used to wash boxes. Okay, so this is one more use, but we cannot advertise it, It not only cleanses your skin without harming it, but it also cleanses your socks, But
when brands were started manufacturing soaps, they used to manufacture it earlier. What I read was to wash clothes as well as to wash the body initially. And then there was this,
specialization.
Yeah.
So my maternal grandmother used to use the same soap for her, this thing, as well as for washing her hair and all that. Once she used Rin to wash her head.
So Lifebuoy.
Not Lifebuoy, she used Rin to wash her head and, the scalp went burning and it took a lot of time for her to recover from that, So from that era where, there's all these things were happening, I think this is what it is. So when you say, first of all, you have to understand the deodorant market has been set. It was male dominated, females were not considered, or, they didn't understand the Indian market properly or the price range of the Indian consumers properly. It's because we just started growing from that 1990s. in the sense of from 1994, you might say that, more and more products started coming in, the economy was growing. And so by the time we reached 2000, I think we're only just getting aware. But by the time it was 2010, we rapidly grew. And because of this economic growth, there was more money that was with the people. It was not that, when we were children, our parents didn't know, or our uncles didn't know that they had bad odor coming from their shirts. They knew. But the thing is, there was no way to counter it. Some people used talcum powder because, that is going to counter a little bit of this. I'll come to you. I think don't write it in this one. Just raise your hand and let's discuss it rather than you pointing out in this thing. So even though the need was there, even though people are aware that they were, their body odor is there, they could only, take quick bath or something, or they could refresh themselves, or they would change the shirt, and all that. That is only possible for them, because there was alternatives were limited, and even if the alternatives were there, they were not available. And even if the alternatives were available, they were pricey. And that's where I want to accept this point that was given by one of you earlier. Who was that? Who said it? That marketing mix ko use kiya tha. Amit. And you say that, this marketing mix was being used, it is because you studied, as Sukhdevji pointed out, you have studied the audience and realized that there is definitely a pain point and it is not going to go away. Public is aware of it, but you need to create more awareness about it, and you need to create more, whatever shame or whatever it is around it. And also create some sort of a nice effect around it, which is what Axe did. But most importantly, what you needed to work on was the price part of it, because most people couldn't afford such expensive deodorants or expensive perfumes, you see. And which is the reason, and if they go downwards, like you say, you can go to Koti Bazaar in Hyderabad, you will get Itr. If you wear it, you will smell, you can be smelled from 1 mile. But the problem is, one cannot stand that kind of smell, you see. So even if the cheap, alternatives are available, they are chemically so strong that people can smell you from miles, which is not what people want, because that will also give rise to rashes or, other respiratory problems and stuff like that. So the consumer is having some bit of awareness, but what we need to do is blow it out of proportions. 2, the consumer is wanting to purchase the product, but it is not affordable. So we need to give a product which is affordable. Third, the consumer wants to purchase it on regular basis, but where is this product available? Is it available in the nearest store at my colony? No, not yet. So I want to look into that aspect also. Then the last thing, as you all pointed out, it is the emotional benefits, or it is the sexism that is being sold, because you are just bringing the idea from US, wherein most of their life revolves around sex. Okay, so they cannot go beyond that, which is the reason why there is always that, that intermingling of sex and life is what you see in most of their products. Everything is always to create the attraction for the primal instincts. You see, you have to have the white teeth. Why? You can attract women. You have to have more hair. Why? You have to attract women. You have to have nice body. Why? You have to attract women. Same is the case for women also. Okay, so they are stuck in that same little rat hole wherein, or a rabbit hole wherein they are running around for the same primal instincts. Whereas in a country like India, it is slightly beyond that. It is the social acceptance that we want. Oh, you are no more smelling like earlier. You want that comment from your cousin. It's as simple as that. Okay, or you want that every one of your cousin has been using deodorant and you're also joining that little club. It's not an exclusive club like a country club, but you're also part of that. Okay, so these small things is what matter to us in terms of emotions, not those primal whatever basic needs, but we are like social needs is what we're looking for. And so in that sense, I think they're able to sell the social needs, but because it is slightly, up the level of the individuals to whom you are targeting, they're trying to bring in the budgetary aspect of it. That is, don't waste it, conserve it and use it for a longer time. Get more mileage. You see, all of you must have cars or scooters. The first discussion that you have when you buy the car, what is it? What is it about?
कितना देती है
Mileage
mileage?
कितना देता है? As if anybody cares. Nobody cares in India except आज तक का जो कैमरामैन है, वो कैमरा लेके आपके पास आया है, एक माइक आपका मुंह में घुसा दिया है, तो बोलेंगे ये गवर्नमेंट कितना गंदा है, प्राइस इंक्रीज कर दिया। ठीक है, हो गया, खत्म बात। सर आप कहाँ जा रहे हैं? सर हम लोग लॉन्ग ड्राइव पे जा रहे हैं। क्यों? घर में रह सकते हैं ना? नहीं सर, बच्चों को लॉन्ग ड्राइव पसंद। अभी तक तो रो रहा था कि पेट्रोल का प्राइस बढ़ गया है, फिर लॉन्ग ड्राइव काहे को जा रहा है? ये मिडिल क्लास इंडियन है, because they're all hypocrites. Okay? So when you say टीवी के सामने ऐसा बोलना था, बोल दिया, और जब वाइफ एंड बच्चों का बात आता है, वो लोग लॉन्ग ड्राइव पे जाना चाहते हैं, वो लोगों को हम कन्विंस करने के लिए लॉन्ग ड्राइव पे चले गए। That's it. So that is why I think adapting the Philip Kotler book is very essential. You have to take only the basic skeleton from Philip Kotler, and you have to adapt all those things based on the Indian audience. That's where studying the Indian audience makes a lot of sense, and that's what your fog did. It has got a chemical background and all that, but it is able to produce a product which is price competitive. And that is the what you call comparative advantage they brought in. Okay, probably we can say uniqueness in terms of the liquid deodorant instead of what you call gas deodorant. That is a difference that they brought, but it is only a comparative difference that can be immediately copied by anybody. All that they need to do is reverse engineer and find out the formula. Okay, but the idea is yours, the market you figured out, and you found out the pricing problem, and you were able to figure, what you call, address that. Now, once you say, okay, all this is happening in the organization, your market research data, you figured out a nice, beautiful product, but how do we convince the customer? That's where this no gas perfume sort of a thing you need to talk about. So how did they do it? How they convinced the middle class audience to purchase fog with their advertisements? What was that thing that appealed to the audience? Anyone, please.
Lesser wastage probably of the product, which will give them more value, which will bring more value to the money that they are spending.
So please don't think that I'm a sexist or anything, Vishakha. But if you are given a very big onion and you are to make a small chutney out of it, okay? A big size onion, which is half a kilo. You only have a family of 3. You cut the onion. You're in India, okay? And you are in US. What will you do with the cut piece, the remaining piece of the onion in India and you in US?
We'll put the remaining part in the refrigerator. Where probably in US, I'm not sure they'll throw it away or.
Isn't it? They throw away. The white people have no brains. They throw it away. But that is the reason why your retail shops want bigger and bigger onions so that you waste more, eat less, waste more, eat less, waste more. Whereas you ask any Indian girl who has gone to US, what she does with that 1 kilo or half a kilo onion, she will say, I put it in the Tupperware and put it in the refrigerator. Okay? That's what all my sisters and cousins do. They don't put it in the dustbin. They don't waste it away. Okay? So that is what is the Indian women. You must understand. That is the reason why we are not begging on the streets like Brazilians, because our women are intelligent enough to save resources and put money, even in the utmost constrained family, they have some small amount saved up. Okay. So this is ingrained in every family, and that is what the Western world is out there to destroy. Okay, which is the reason why we have to prepare our girls all the more better. You see, so वो जो नुस्खे हैं घर के, they have to transpire from the mother to the daughter, more importantly. Okay, so because of this nature, as Vishaka pointed out, that you are saving that onion, which means you will save everything. You are utilizing the resources to the maximum. It is not because Porter taught you that, or Philip Kotler taught you that, or Deming taught you that, or some Japanese taught you that. No, your mother taught you that. It's as simple as that. So it is in the social realm that we have to conserve resources and make the best use of all the resources that we have, because हम लोगों को भिखारी जैसा ही 75 years पे रखा गया है. तो उस भिखारीपन में ही हम लोग चंद्रमा तक पहुंच गए, isn't it? With those limited resources only, we were able to go to that dark side of the south moon. You see, you don't get as much budgets as the Twitter fellow is giving, or as much budgets as your NASA fellows are giving. We get half the budgets or less than half the budgets, but still we are able to go there. How? Because we are constrained for finances. We are always thinking as to how do we best utilize the resources. And that is what this organization figured out. And it has already been proved by so many companies like your Nirma, your Gadi detergent powder, your Sasa detergent powder, your Fairness cream, your Chick shampoo and all that. So this fellow is following the same formula, that you please save the money that you have spent. One, we are giving you this at a very lower price compared to Axe deodorant, but you can also conserve it further because it is coming in the liquid form. It will stick to you. It will not fly away. You see? So it's more of a rational, more of a functional appeal, as you've already pointed out, that they are trying to give. Then kya chal raha hai aur kya chahiye? What is this? The other two sentences that you started off. Once you say that, you are proving that how many, sprays you will get and how many months you can, or how many days you can make use of it, the rationality part of it has been, what you call satisfied. Now what will you do? Because others started copying you slowly. They will copy you eventually. So what are you saying? Kya chal raha hai? Why are you saying this? Why have you changed it? Now you are changing the mood of the customer, isn't it?
By using this statement that kya chal raha hai, is basically they wanted to create a hype in the market just to capture the attentions among the target customers, and they used the Fox in advertisement just to segmented well their customer between 18 to 28 years. So they wanted to make it a very common scenario, like kya chal raha hai, it's a Fox chal raha hai. So kind of theory, they want to create a attentions towards the customers. Yeah.
So when we go to the movie, kya chal raha hai? Generally the word that is used, aapke ghar mein kya chal raha hai? Sab kuch acha chal raha hai? This is you take in whichever language, because Hindi is a mostly, what you call accepted as a national language or whatever it is, you are trying to make use of it. But kem cho, sab shanti, this is what they ask in Gujarati. Okay, so everybody is kushal mangal. Something or the other is what you are asking. And then this is like one way of the story, or one side of the story is that you're asking how are you, and you are talking about the welfare of the family. You're establishing that relationship. One side of it. Second side of it, you're also trying to give a hint that, though we came late into the market, we are the number one or going to be number one in the market, because hum chal rahe hai, hum log chal rahe hai, hamara circulation zyada ho raha hai. They're also giving a hint to the competition that we are the ones who are selling in the market, not you. Okay, so this is like one side of the story. They're asking the customers, double-edged this thing is what they're trying to manage. And on one side, they're trying to say that, customer, how are you? Are you using our product nice and all that? On the other side, they're also trying to estimate and say, it is we who are, now in the currency, not Axe. And they stayed away from this sexist image because most of the deodorants were depending upon women models and women attraction. Rather, this organization relied upon its own effectiveness in terms of the product creation and the efficiency with which it is delivering the results, thereby trying to establish a very robust image for itself, isn't it? Sukhdev ji.
Sir, अभी आवाज आ रहा है ना? Yeah, the sound is clear, sir?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, sir, what I wanted to say is that this, they had kept the audio, the visuals also, India-Pakistan visual. The kind of things that Indian target audience, that 18 to 28 years, that could relate to. Yes, they are in India, Indian society, the things which are not taught or a kind of a taboo kind of items are not very relatable if you try to relate a product statement to it. It doesn't gel.
Yes.
But India-Pakistan concept always gels with Indian youth. Be it cricket match, be it a hockey match, be it advertisement. So visual itself was very catchy, and actually, they spread the word. And what you said was very correct. He said that we are coming up, means hamara. And it gave a clear message to its competitors.
Yes.
That
you're challenging them in their own market. You are challenging them.
Yeah, challenging them. Correct. And that actually gelled with the youth. They are kind of always the youth is given a backseat, means the people who are there earning more than the youth always tries to ridicule the youth. When I was there in your age, I used to do so many things. I used to win with so many trophies, and all that used to come up. Is a message, but here the message is very clear, means, and people also could the target audience that has to be means attended to. The ad did very clearly, very simply did it. Very efficient.
So when you say Sanyogita, I'll come to you in 1 minute just after wrapping up what Sukhdev ji has said, and we'll stop at 1:30. So your mother or your grandmother, at least in your generation, might have said, "तुम्हारी शादी तभी होगी जब अच्छा नौकरी मिलेगा." Okay? पहले पॉकेट बढ़ाने का कोशिश करो, लड़की के पीछे जाने से कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला है. Okay? वो सब सिनेमा में होता है. Okay, we see all those eve teasings and other things happening outside in the movies, but once you come back here, and you try to do something, your mother will or father will slap you and say, "पढ़ाई करो, पढ़ाई करने से ही लड़की मिलेगी, और जितना अच्छा नौकरी है उतना खूबसूरत लड़की मिलेगी." Okay, you don't have to be handsome, you don't have to be attractive, you have to be rich enough to marry a beautiful girl. That is what has been told to all Indian men. Even today also, my students, I also tell them the same thing. पहले पैसा कमाओ, बाद में देखेंगे, और घर में भी काम करो. I add one more point to them that if you don't want to get divorced, you better start learning how to work in the family and help your wife, so that because she is also earning, you won't get divorced. If you act like that male chauvinist fellow, you will get divorced in the first year itself. अरे यार ये बंदा already feedback अलग कर रहा है. So when you say this is what it is, so when you say your axe is telling एक परफ्यूम डालो लड़की आ जाएगी, अरे परफ्यूम डालने से लड़की नहीं आती है. इंडिया में 100 साल से यही बोल रहा है कि पैसा कमाना है और बड़ा आदमी बनना है, तब अच्छी लड़की तुमसे शादी करेगी. Okay, so how can you get challenge that a thing that is existing in my DNA, that a beautiful girl will never fall for me unless I am rich. Okay. So if you come with a BMW, probably the most beautiful girl in the college will fall for you. Otherwise, you will say, "अरे यार जाओ यार, तुम्हारा जैसा पापड़ी बेचने वाला बहुत सारा मिला है रास्ते में." Okay, so when your axe or something else tells you that just with the perfume everything is possible, whereas your IIT coaching is telling something else, it is not gelling very well. And that's where your fog is coming and saying, वो middle class पप्पा जो बोल रहा है, fog भी वही बोल रहा है. ठीक है, IIT कोचिंग जाओ और स्मेल नहीं मारे इसीलिए फॉग पहन के जाओ. See, in that sense, I think they understood that audience very well. And that's where they're able to build this. And but with all fun said and done, I think there is that very, very clearly planned out, very carefully understood strategy of finding out what is the customer requiring. And that's where I would like to go back to what Anil has said. They were interested in first of all addressing the need which was desperately there, but they were interested in also addressing the price and availability part also. And most importantly, they were trying to challenge this. And I will say one last word and then conclude. That is, when Fog launched its exotic editions, you must see that Axe has launched its exotic editions, the black ones. And at one point in time, Axe even copied the advertising format of your Fog. You see, so the challenger has risen to such a level that the leader is also following the mechanisms, which means hum aa rahe hai ya kya chal raha hai has been solidified in the mind of the customer. It is because Fog is running so successfully that Axe is also following, which earlier claimed to be the leader in the market. Last say this thing from Sanyogitam. Last arguments from Sanyogitam.
No, so initially, like you right now, when we were discussing, you told that, that brand chal raha hai, wo brand chal raha hai, and that was, they were telling it, shouting it out to the competitors. Initially, when this Fog ad was released, I was younger, and I used to think that the ad was, because I was in advertising, I always took it in one other way, and that was that because they were saying that it has 85 sprays, more sprays and all that, they had created that ad saying that Fog chal raha hai, as in to the consumer that it lasts longer.
Yes.
But now now I got to know that yes, their focus was also that to tell the competitor itself that we are in the market and we are selling more than
वहीं पे आपको कवि का हृदय जानना चाहिए.
Right, sir. Agreed.
कवि के हृदय में बहुत सारी चीजें हैं. वो लेयर बाय लेयर हम लोगों को अनरावल करके अंडरस्टैंड करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि these marketing experts know they are very, very good. So that's why I say in management, whatever word you are trying to understand, please understand not as a block, but try to understand it as layers of it. There are layers and layers of things that are present in it. And once you understood the layers of it, then you will also understand that there are levels also. The layers and levels of the marketing jargon or the sentences that are used by these ad experts or things like that are to be understood very clearly. Yeah, thank you so much. I think today's sessions were absolutely thrilling. That's why I asked the Times Now fellow to share the video with me so that I can make some notes out of it for further classes and all that. So thank you so much. I think I will share the other cases and other details for the next classes. So please complete the theoretical readings and all that. And then just like you did today, in the next classes also, we'll discuss similar small cases, but try to understand the whole gamut of things using the small cases only. Thank you so much. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Professor. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.